Blog Talk Radio.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire LCS Hockey.
Don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along comes two. They got nothing but the genes, but they got different strokes to take, different strokes to take, different strokes to move the world. Everybody's got a special kind of story. Everybody finds a way to shine. It don't matter that you got not a lot. So what? You'll have theirs, you'll have yours, and I'll have mine. And together we'll be fine. To take different strokes to move the world. Yes, it does. It takes different strokes to move the world.
And we're off. Yet another of the Ed's illegitimate kids. It is the LCS Hockey Radio Show. Brought to you as always by Honest John Churchfield and by the #1 non-updated hockey site in all the land, lcshockey.com. LCS, Major Minority Likes Man Meat. All right, here we go, Mike Dell. And before we even get into the monologue, did you see the play?
Yeah.
All right, well, hold on. We'll save it for a minute. Bradley Cooper, who's starring in the upcoming A-Team flick, says his good looks weren't always prominent. Quote, I've never lived the life of, oh, you're so good-looking. People thought I was a girl when I was little because I looked like a girl. Cooper has since overcome his troubles and is now dating Renee Zellweger, who has never been mistaken for a girl.
Yeah, what's up with Renee Zellweger?
Oh, my God. Good Lord.
My boy Jack White dated her. She's been with all kinds of people, and she's not that pretty.
Not even close to pretty. Who likes lemonade?
Some might even say uglier than homemade shoes.
Good Lord. She's always got that sour puss face.
Yeah. Open your eyes, woman.
Yeah. Let's see. Adam Lambert, who was last year's American Idol runner-up, has told his fans to stop buying gifts for him and instead would like them to use that money and donate it to charity. His favorite charity? Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert. Yeah. All right. Hey, whatever, Mike Dow. They're not all gold. They're not. Paul McCartney's tour bus was attacked Thursday while driving through an impoverished section of Mexico after the local townfolk thought it was a giant rolling taco. Giant rolling taco. You know, it's yellow. All right. How about this, Mike, though? Gary Coleman passed away over the weekend from a brain hemorrhage he suffered in a fall, which led Poison frontman Bret Michaels to say, that's what I'm talking about, Willis. That's what I'm talking about, Willis. You know, because he had a brain hemorrhage, but he didn't pass away. Huh. Yeah, I thought the monologue together pretty quickly today.
Sure.
Yeah. How about this, Mike, though? Who has never been mistaken for a girl.
Quit it. Stop
All
it
right
there.
All right, anyways, the show, yada, yada, yada. The finals are going on right now, and maybe we'll talk about that, maybe not. The Edge should be here tonight. Mike Dell has a Diff'rent Strokes tribute you can put together there. Top 11 episodes of that. And later on in the show, Mike Dell, you got a conspiracy that I have a feeling it's gonna spark a debate back over at the boards over at damashek.com.
Hey.
I don't know, but
I do what I can.
Yeah. All right, let's get it over with. Joining me as always is the editor-in-chief at LCS Hockey.
What?
And
yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry,
What?
Larry. I'm watching this controversial play.
I hear ya.
What is controversial about it? We're watching Armando Galarraga almost had a perfect game for the Detroit Tigers. And they called it, I don't even know who hit that ball. Do you know
I couldn't tell either.
And on the 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth there, or top of the ninth, whatever it is, and they can't get the out at first base because the ump called the guy safe, and he was out by like a foot.
Yeah, he was out by more than a step at least. And the best part about it was like the Galarraga. Did you see him just kind of smile at the ref like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah, the ump there. Yeah, it wasn't even close. What?
No, not even close. Not even close.
It's a perfect game, ump. What are you doing?
Now, you know what I do if I'm Galarraga at that point? After he calls him safe, I look at the ump, I check second, I go into my windup, and I drill that guy between the eyes with like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from 9 feet away. Like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, it's not a controversial call. It's a missed call.
It's a bad call.
Terribly missed. I've never seen such a thing. But,
I hear
you. You know, I have that Armando Galarraga in our 30-team baseball league, fantasy baseball league, and I didn't pitch him tonight because we can only start one pitcher. So in a way, kind of relieved. But
well, you still would have got a win and a quality start, and I don't know how many strikeouts and all that kind of stuff he had.
That kid got robbed of a perfect game because the ump can't see.
Wow,
one of the other umps come in and say, "Hey, you know what? It was a perfect game. It's good. He's out. Forget it. Game over."
And what about this instant replay? I thought you're supposed to, can't you get calls right?
Just on home runs.
That's bogus. Well, Bud Selig needs to step in here.
But what kind of a jackass do you have to be in a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning to call anything close for the runner? Like, what?
Yeah, I hear you.
What are you doing?
I'm with you, Mike Dell. I'm telling you, I would have went to the stretch right on first base, and I would have drilled that guy. I would have never played in the major leagues again. Because if you're going to miss a call that bad, then I don't even want to play in your league.
It's a garage league.
Yeah, it's a garage league. Mario Lemieux would not be happy.
That would have been the 3rd perfect game of the season already.
Yeah,
there's only been 20 in history, and this would have been the 3rd of the season.
Yep, what a rip. What a rip.
Anyway.
All right, let's bring the Ed on, because he's here already.
Oh, yeah, let's talk to the Ed.
All right. Ed!
Alert, 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 alert.
What's the alert, Ed?
Bud Selig got a press conference at 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time.
About what?
Is he going to say it's a perfect game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's switching it. Finally, the guy going to do something good.
But can he do that, though? Because another hitter came to the plate. There's 28. How can he call it a perfect game?
Overrule, man. He's in his league. He can do whatever he want to do, man.
Yeah, you're breaking up there, yeah.
I know, I rolled down the goddamn window. Stop crying, shit.
Well, no one can hear you talking when you're rolling down the window. What do you want me to do about it? We're on a show. You're supposed to talk.
Open your ears, retard.
So you're saying Bud Selig is going to overturn this call and it's going to be a perfect game?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, Bud Selig's not exactly known for being decisive, so we'll see.
I don't know. Greg Lazinski went over there with a bat.
Now, have you had a chance to see the play yet?
Now, I was in the car hearing it, and I said, Jesus Christ, man, he's got to be safe.
He's got to be safe. But, it was terrible, It's not even close. I don't understand.
Brian Kenny went off on ESPN. Scott Farrell went off on satellite radio. And me.
That's 3 guys, 3 guys are really upset about it now.
Yeah. Things probably happen.
Yeah, things do happen.
That's what happened.
Hey, your buddy Ken Griffey Jr. also retired today.
Yeah, I know, man. And then Honky White Sucker's brother got mad at me today because I said Ricky Henderson was better than Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah, Ricky Henderson's better, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
But he told me no. He said no. He said for 10 years, Ken Griffey Jr. was the best player in baseball. I mean, I can see I like Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, he's my second favorite player compared to Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, I'm watching the replay still, and Jim Leland came out to argue the call, and he's like, hey.
Yeah, how come if I was that Galarraga guy or whatever, Galarraga, I'd have got kicked out of the game.
That's what Larry was saying. He would have, like, beamed the guy.
I mean, I would have just did back. I'd have done big backflips and pissed all over first base. I would have. I'm telling you.
He is out by 4 feet.
You know, like in my softball game the other night when I got me a triple. Listen, and man, I slid under that tag and they called me out. I would not get off the base.
Really?
Finally, I argued so long, they just said, all right, man, you're safe.
Well, we'll talk about you and your softball career tomorrow on your show, because I think there's something fishy going on there, too. But, yeah, this is just ridiculous here.
Well, I mean, there's something fishy about my softball career, man. It's a career. I don't get paid, but I mean, hey.
Conspiracy in your softball career.
Well, hey, man, look, you know what? I'm tired of your conspiracies, man. We're going to try to have one tonight about the people building dogs and stuff. I'm like,
no,
you hear that?
It's not at all about people building dogs.
Oh, yeah, we're going to build a dog. Oh, we're going to use some crayons and some glue. Oh, we're going to build a dog. No one even cares about it.
I'm watching the game here, and it looks like Miguel Cabrera is giving that ump the beef. He's giving him the business.
Oh, he's giving him the business.
yeah,
he's showing at him the whole way. Like,
yeah, the game's still going on. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that umpire should get punched right in the mouth, man.
I mean, it's just ridiculous to look at. All right, anyway, we got to quit talking about it.
You know what I say about that umpire?
What's that, the Ed?
Jerk.
Wow, the Ed did a little jerk list. Wow, well done, the Ed. Good job.
Yeah, I try to bring it back. I'm bringing sexy back. I get your mama and I hit her right. Hey, listen, I heard you talking about Gary Coleman and stuff, and I had a story.
We're going to have a Gary Coleman tribute tonight on the show. A little bit
later.
There's
one guy I know, he sells dope, and he used to sell it to Dana Plato, and she used to go down on her knees to get some dope from him.
Sounds about right, yeah. Yeah, she admitted that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a freak.
But,
too.
Now, the Ed, we got to talk some hockey, though. Stanley Cup Finals are going on. Well, the Tigers are just giving it to that ump. Holy hell.
Are they still arguing? Are they still out there yelling?
Oh, my goodness. After the game, the Tigers come on the field. Jim Leland and the coach are just screaming at this ump.
Man, I'm telling you, that umpire may get shot. Was that game in Detroit?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that umpire may get killed tonight.
Wow,
I'm telling you.
Screaming at him. That was amazing.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, you know, I'm telling you, that goddamn Bud Selig is going to make a reversal on the call, man.
He got it. He's something.
He's got, and listen, and listen, the replay instantly is going to have to come into play, man. What if this would have been in the World Series?
This might be the tipping point. Yeah, this could make
replay
on all close plays.
And I want to know what's going on. Why did we almost have the third perfect game and we've only had 19 in history?
Yeah, there's 20 now because of Halliday.
No.
Yeah, Halliday.
Oh, Halliday was 20?
Yeah.
Oh, but still. Is there something going on with the ball or the bats?
Yeah, the ball. It's not juiced enough. I don't know. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so anyway.
I don't know what to say about it.
Well, yeah, do you want to hang around while we talk hockey, or did you want to call back in for Gary Coleman?
I'm going to call back with your conspiracy and stuff. But hey, man, listen. Look for me on the goddamn thing. I'm not holding on forever.
All right. Yeah,
when
Larry,
I call, you put me on, man. Don't be bullshitting.
Keep an eye out for the Ed, Larry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Got me on hold like goddamn pigeon with a Roscoe chicken. I'm like, I ain't doing it.
All right, yeah, thanks. We appreciate it, buddy. Because I know you like Gary Coleman, so you want to be part of that big tribute. So.
What you talking about, number one, now?
Exactly. So we just call back in like 10 minutes or something. All right, the Ed. All right, there goes the Ed. I think he's gone. There he is.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I do that. I'll leave the Ed on the switchboard just to see how many times he'll hang up and call back. Like when you're doing your little, conspiracy segments or something. I'll just play a little game with myself. Like, how many times will the Ed call back in? No, I just keep looking at him. I see his little hand up, and I laugh.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to do. Because normally I don't want the Ed interrupting the conspiracy segments. You know,
I hear you.
He's just full of monkey shine and nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's going to distract everything. But tonight we want him back in to talk Gary Coleman and maybe get his take on the conspiracy tonight because it's a good one. But it is Stanley Cup Final season, Larry.
Yeah.
Those filthy Blackhawks are up 2-0 on the filthier Flyers.
That's true.
No, I've been told you've been watching each game, every minute of every game you're glued to the TV.
I'll tell you what, I just turned it on right now when you mentioned it. This is like the first seconds I've seen of the finals.
Oh, it's 1-1 now. Oh, I missed a goal.
Yeah, we missed a goal. I don't know who it was.
Duncan Keith. Hey, your buddy Danny Briere had the goal in the first period.
Don't touch Danny! He must have went unscathed the whole way down the ice because, God forbid, you put a shoulder on that guy, you're in the box.
Well, Larry, let me just say, the games I've seen have been tremendous. I really haven't seen too much of tonight's action because I've been very busy. But, yeah, a lot of fast-paced action. The first game was a 6-5. It was just nuts. It was 4-4 in the end of the first period, just back and forth, back and forth. And then game 2 was really physical and aggressive and nasty, and it went right down to the wire again, a 2-1 game. Yeah, it's been great hockey.
Yeah. I DVR'd the games, and I've been breaking them down and analyzing them, on my off days. It's been good stuff. I'm enjoying it.
But the most interesting aspect of both games could be at the end. What happens at the end? Your buddy Chris Pronger. Why don't you tell the people what he does?
Yeah, well, A, he's not my buddy. He's a total douche. But B, what he's been doing, I guess, since Philadelphia lost Game 1 and Game 2, he'll take the puck. He'll take the puck from the Blackhawks. He picks it up, and then he takes it with him off the ice, and then he throws it in a garbage can.
Well, at least that's what he says he does it. Like, where'd you put them? In the garbage where they belong, as he said.
That is funny.
And then they asked him how he felt about the Blackhawks, like they were talking about. And he goes, well, I guess little minds... what did he say? Little minds get preoccupied with little things or something like that.
Something like that, or amused by little things, he said something along those lines.
Yeah, Chris Pronger, he's quite the guy. So what do you think of this, Larry? Him taking the pucks and going back to the
I mean, he's an ass. I hate that guy, but it's funny. I think it's funny.
It is rather hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Just the fact that he's a big enough a douche that at the end of the games to track down the pucks, bend down, pick them up, skate off with them. That is very funny.
And then throw it away. Yeah, throw it away.
Who thinks of that, You're losing.
I know. You're down 2-0, and you're worried about grabbing a puck off the ice?
And it's not even like these are like blowouts. Or, these are one-goal games right down to the wire, the final horn sounds. And, you figure you got your adrenaline going. The last thing on your mind is skate never pick up the puck, but not Chris Pronger. He's on top of it right away.
Hey. I guess, when you're young, you're playing hockey or even baseball, you got to make sure you have your equipment when you leave. I guess he's, that's ingrained in his mind, and he's like, hey, there's a puck, I better take it. We won't have one next time.
And he's going home. He's taking it home with him.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't even have the game on. I'm still watching MLB Network, and I'm watching all the Tigers now. They're showing them in the room watching the replays, and all the Tigers are just irate.
Are they? All right, I got to put it back on. Two guys watching TV on the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That's all we got. Well, we had a great show planned, and then this happens right when we're going on the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very entertaining. Yeah, so Pronger taking the pucks. I don't know. I think he's a jerk, but hey, you don't want him doing it, punch him in the mouth,
That's true.
Like, the guys were right there. They saw him do it. Punch him in the mouth. You want that puck, take it. See what I'm saying? You take it from him.
Is that Harold
Reynolds? Get off the ice,
Is that Harold? Is that his name, Harold Reynolds?
Yeah, that's right, Harold Reynolds.
Yeah. What's he saying? Like, I wonder what he's saying. He looks kind of animated.
Yeah, I don't even have the volume on because
I don't either. Yeah. Maybe we should bag the show and then watch the MLB Network, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I think everyone else should just watch the MLB Network.
Yeah. Channel 181.
Although the MLB Network, I like Harold Reynolds. He's a swell fella. But their other analysts are just very annoying. Wild thing, Mitch Williams, he's not too bad. But
he's on here.
Yeah, Al Leiter's on here. He's not good. Barry Larkin's no good. Dave Valley is that guy on the right there. He's no good. But the big annoying thing is like the main host, like the Matt Vescursions of the world. They have. Like,
he's on here.
Yeah, and they have another guy that looks exactly like him, and I don't know. His name's like I don't know something. But
Joe Vescursion.
I just hate the fake guys with the fake TV voices and the fake TV haircuts and the fake TV suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really annoying.
I think Kruk should host everything.
Really?
Yeah, I love that dude.
Hey, Peter Gammons is on here now, though.
Yeah, I don't like Gammons. He's a Red Sox fan.
But that's I was doing a little Peter Gammons imitation there.
Oh.
Like he'll talk for 10 minutes and then he'll just say "but," and then he'll say something else.
Yeah, see, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
You got to work on that. It's not so good.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
But, anyway, all right, yeah. So you give the thumbs up to Chris Pronger taking the pucks.
Yeah, for a humor sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. Like, it's nothing I would ever do. But if you're a dick like Chris Pronger, do it. You know.
Yeah, it's fitting to his character.
Yeah. And then he's giving the reporters, and when the reporters ask him about it, he's like, he's giving them the business in the media rooms. Like he's like saying, "You got a problem with that or something?" And it's like,
yeah,
that'd be great. I'd love that. I'd fight Chris Pronger right there. Come on, Chris Pronger.
I think Chris Pronger would measure.
I'd be like, yeah, I do have a problem with that, Chris Pronger. You know, let's go. But I just can't believe I'm still watching the replay. It's just mind-boggling. You know?
I know. This is the most asinine.
It's a perfect game, 2 out of the ninth, and you're calling the guy safe.
But here's the thing. It's not like the ball and the runner arrived at the bag at the same time.
No.
He already had the ball. He's way out.
And if you watch the runner, I swear I saw a replay where the runner even put his hands on his head. Like, what did you do? I swear. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Ay. I'd love to hear what Leland's saying right now. You know he's dying for a cigarette.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Leland. I swear, he hasn't coached the Pirates in like 18 years, but I swear he looked just exactly this old 18 years ago.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't aged.
He looked about 70 when he was 40, and he still looks that same.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's good. I mean, he looked bad 20 years ago, but he looks good now.
Yeah, see, I'm 35, and I look about 15, so one day it's just going to swing quick. You know,
yeah.
I want to go from looking real young to looking real old, and it's going to be horrible.
I don't think so.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, yeah, what else of the hockey we got to talk about? Well, yeah, the games are good. Great series.
Well, how do you feel about the Coyotes, the Blackhawks being up 2-0?
Well, they're both close games. The Flyers should have won both of them. They definitely should have won Game 2, and they could have won Game 1, but they made a lot of mistakes defensively and whatnot. You just hate to waste 5 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, if you score 5, you have to win.
Yeah.
So when you lose a game 6-5, it's crushing. It's just it's terrible. Then Game 2 to come back, and they played better than the Blackhawks in Game 2, and they still ended up losing. Our buddy Danny Corsillo had an entertaining game in Game 2, but yeah, so he was running around, yipping and stuff, doing all kind of things, and but yeah, I think the Flyers will pull this one out, and it'll be 2-1. A big thing.
I don't think the Flyers win tonight.
Yeah, well, Chicago's a better team, but who knows? They can still. Flyers aren't too shabby. They can pull it out. Who knows? But a lot of people give me grief that I picked the Flyers and I said I'd be rooting for the Flyers. You know.
Uh-huh.
But and I thought of a good analogy, and I didn't mention it on the show last week, but it's kind of like imagine this, Larry.
I read your analogy, but yeah, let me hear it.
Yeah, if Spider-Man, imagine you're Spider-Man. You love being Spider-Man. You wear the pajamas. You do it all. You like to pretend you're Spider-Man anyway. So for the sake of this little analogy here, pretend you're Spider-Man, all right?
That's no problem. I am surrounded by Spider-Man right now, and I mean, I'm not even kidding. I have Spider-Man figures hanging. I have a fat head of Spider-Man.
Yeah. So it's not a stretch. All right. So you're Spider-Man. You're sitting there, and you're watching a fight between the Joker and the Green Goblin.
Right.
Who are you rooting for?
The Joker.
Really?
Yeah, because I hate the Flyers.
No, that's not the analogy. Green Goblin or the Joker, who are you rooting for?
I'm not rooting for anybody.
But, hey, someone's going to win. You got to put a bet down. Who are you betting on? Who's going to win?
The Goblin.
That's right. You want Green Goblin to win because it makes you look tough. If Joker just comes in and beats the Green Goblin, you look like a pussy. You hear what I'm saying? You want someone coming in just knocking off your big rival, you know?
Uh-huh.
It makes DC Comics look better than Marvel Comics. It makes Batman look better than you. You know, you don't want that. You want the Green Goblin stuff a pumpkin bomb right down his throat. So that's kind of what we want to see with the Flyers. We want the Flyers to beat the Hawks because it makes the Flyers look tough and it makes the Penguins look tough.
Okay, well then, based on that analogy, if the Flyers are the Green Goblin and you know they walked all over Montreal, does that make the Penguins like the Black Fox?
The Black Fox?
You ever see the Black Fox? He's like a 70-year-old jewel thief.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I do
He's
remember
like the
that,
worst like Spider-Man villain ever. Is that what the Penguins are then, based on this analogy?
Hey, that's a great idea for a top 11 list. Top 11 Spider-Man villains.
Oh well, yeah. We
Next
could
week,
do
book it.
that. Book it. Top 11 Spider-Mans. All right.
Spider-Man villains. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I know right now our list will be different.
Oh yeah.
But
I'll
I
have
know who your number one will be.
Who?
Venom.
I love Venom.
Yeah.
Venom is so badass. But, you know, I'll have my popular list, and you'll have your Cousin Brandon list.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because my knowledge of Spider-Man is ridiculous and quite in-depth. So I'll have all these obscure choices. The Prowler. Remember the Prowler?
No.
All right.
Yeah. He was in issue 3. You know, one time, yeah. He made one appearance.
In the 50s. I think like 58 or something like that he was in, yeah. But,
yeah, the Prowler. Yeah, he's a badass. Yeah, he's going to be in the next movie, I hear.
So it's going to be great. Next week, top 11 Spider-Man villains. Sweet.
Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go. Hey, before we get off the hockey real quick, did you hear about this douche? I don't know if you were listening to The Fan today at all, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. But there's some Allegheny County, he's a councilman, and I think his name's Matt Drodds, something like that. And did you hear he proposed like a referendum or some sort of proposal of some kind about how the Penguin fans should be rooting for the Flyers because it's good for the state, and that
that's stupid. See, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the Green Goblin Spider-Man thing. But if you're doing it because it's for the good of the state, that's just dumb.
Yeah, and then he even went as far as to say the Flyer fans would root for the Penguins if the situation was averted. Is this guy drunk?
Yeah.
The Flyer fans, they barely root for their own teams, let alone anything from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, keep in mind, if I'm a politician, I'm not saying root for the Flyers. Hell no, you know. Because I understand that my position is bizarre and obscure to have, but yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I'm sure, how many Penguin fans are rooting for Flyers? Like me and nobody else. That's it.
Yeah, you're the only one.
But this character here, I guess his reasoning is that if the Flyers host more playoff games and win, it'll bring more money into Pennsylvania, and somehow it'll trickle down to Pittsburgh through taxes and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll reap those benefits.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. Come on, Hartnell.
Yeah, so we'll do a big hockey show here shortly. Maybe next week too. Maybe we'll do a big hockey show and top 11 Spider-Man, and because we got to talk about once the Stanley Cup Finals are over, we'll talk about the Penguins and how they got to handle the off season and stuff. We'll go real in depth with it. You know?
Yeah, I got to interject there, Mike Dell, because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but our alternative summer programming is coming up soon.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't want to be getting into hockey so much.
We've kind of been doing alternative summer programming for all year.
Yeah, I think the people are really enjoying it. I know Larry is.
All right. Well, is there any other hockey thing, or can we get into the Gary Coleman tribute?
All right, let's get into Gary Coleman.
Let's just start off. Well, first of all, my condolences to Gary Coleman and his family. Although it sounds like he doesn't like his family. So.
Yeah, he sued his parents back in the day, and apparently I've been reading several stories today where they're saying that his wife might not have had the authority to pull the plug on him, so now there's controversy surrounding all this.
Yeah, this whole thing is fishy to me. And I think in another year or two we'll have a conspiracy segment on Gary Coleman's death. Because something ain't right. Something's hanky.
Mm-hmm.
Her story is that she was up in bed, and they were in bed together, and she said, hey, I'm hungry. Can you go get me something to eat? So he went down to get her something to eat, and she heard a bang downstairs. And she went down, and she said that she called the paramedics then because she said he hit his head and he's bleeding everywhere. But she said she wanted to go downstairs to check on him or help him because she was scared of the blood, that she'd pass out and stuff. But when the paramedics get there, he has a 2-inch gash on his head and a lot of blood. And but he was lucid enough to talk to them, and he didn't mention that something fishy happened. There's really sketchy details about what went on there, but apparently he just fell and hit his head in the kitchen. But again, he's not a tall fella,
No. Maybe he ran into the countertop.
But, I mean, that's not a great distance to fall and hit his head, I don't know. something suspicious going on. But at the same time, they said he walked to the ambulance.
Really?
And that morning in the hospital, or when he got to the hospital, they said he was fine and he seemed okay that morning. And then in the afternoon, his condition deteriorated tremendously, and he was dead later that evening.
Oh.
So that's unusual. I guess he had a dialysis treatment, a 4-hour dialysis treatment earlier in the day or the day before, and he may have still been weak from that, so maybe that contributed to him falling down. But I don't know. Something's weird about this whole thing.
I think we need Mike Dell on the case.
Yeah, but if like the lady was roughing him up and beating him up and she killed him, you think he would have said, hey, when the paramedics were there, oh yeah, she conked me on the head with an ashtray or something, you know?
Yeah.
But apparently there's none of that. So.
Have you seen the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much.
What can you do? Yeah, so you know, Godspeed, Gary, wherever you are, buddy. Because I got to tell you, Larry, I love the Gary Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it seems like he was kind of like a dick, though.
No, and I think that it's just living his whole life with people being a dick to him that he had to be on guard all the time, you know? Because all people did was make fun of him, you know, for being short.
That is true.
And for being, what you're talking about, Willis, always asking him to do that stuff. No one respected him as a person, you know? And I think it made him bitter towards life and, you know, fame and everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
Poor guy.
Well,
his life had to be real messed up from the time, because making that much money when you're a little kid and being in Hollywood and all the messed up people out there, and, you know, taking advantage of them and stuff.
Being sick. Growing up sick.
Yeah, and I'm sure it wasn't a happy life for the guy. And then he had to sue his parents to get his money and all that crazy stuff. But I love the Gary Coleman growing up. He's one of my favorite people there, and I love the Diff'rent Strokes. And when we were doing LCS back in the day, you know, in the mid-'90s there, pretty much every issue we'd put out, we'd have a picture of Gary Coleman on the front. At least, like his little picture of his face or something. There would always be a Gary Coleman present somewhere. And so, yeah, Gary Coleman and LCS hockey are kind of linked together in that way.
Well,
in fact, even when I wrote that LCS Hockey Christmas Carol way back in the day, I believe the ghost of Christmas Future was or was he the ghost of, I don't know. He was one of the ghosts, Gary Coleman. He was one of the ghosts that comes back to visit me and stuff, you know. So. Remember that, Larry?
Yeah. I think, you know, every year we say we're going to read that, like, around the holiday season, and we never do.
No, there's really
We should, though.
Yeah, I suppose. But, yeah, so LCS Hockey and Gary Coleman, we're connected at the hip. And who can forget that great picture of Gary Coleman in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room in the early 80s?
Yeah.
He's wearing his little coat and his Argyle sweater, and he has his autograph book and his pen in his one hand. And there's Mark Messier and nothing but a towel. And Messier's got his one hand on a beer and his other hand on Gary's ass.
Yeah, it's got it on his ass. And he's having a good time with it.
Oh, yeah, Messier's enjoying it. And it looks like the most bizarre ventriloquist act you've ever seen.
Like, oh, look at this kid. He really does talk.
Yeah. Crazy. Then there's another one of him and Gretzky. Gretzky's in this robe, this Edmonton Oilers terry cloth robe or something. That's something, too. But, yeah, the Messier pictures, you know, that's
Here's what I found disturbing is, you know, over at damashek.com, somebody posted a thread about Gary Coleman. And I was wondering, why do you have all these pictures, Mike Dell?
Oh, I told you. We ran a picture of Gary Coleman in pretty much every episode.
I hear you, but you got the one with Messier half naked. Then you got one of Gary Coleman with no shirt on.
Yeah, there's one of Gary Coleman posing like a Hercules kind of guy with his fists on his hips, and he's got his chest out. Yeah, because I wanted to give you an image of him being strong, Larry.
But why do you have these images?
Hey, I'm not going to show you my personal photo collection.
The people have a right to know what's going on over there.
But this is a perfect segue into the top 11. Or should we talk about his movie career before we go Diff'rent Strokes? Which would you rather do first, Larry?
Let's talk about the movie career.
Yeah, because he was in a lot of movies when I was growing up, and I looked them up today on IMDb, and the one we were talking about yesterday, Larry, that pretty much everyone remembers, On the Right Track.
Yeah, On the Right Track ruled.
Now, this was released in 1981, and Gary played a homeless shoeshine boy, and who lived in the subway, right? Is that pretty much what it was?
Yeah, he lived in didn't he live in a locker or something?
Yeah, well, here, I'll just read the plot off of IMDb. Lester is a homeless shoeshine boy living in a railway station. He's got this funny knack for picking the winning horses out of the paper while shining shoes. When word gets around, though, everyone wants a piece of the action. Yeah.
Huh.
That's right.
Yeah.
On the right track.
Yeah.
And it also starred
Aaron Gray?
Michael Lembeck.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he was the guy from One Day at a Time. He was dating Julie, I believe, or married to Julie on One Day at a Time.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know. Yep. I know who you're talking about now.
And Norman Fell was in it. He was the mayor.
Wow.
Norman Fell.
Mr. Roper?
Maureen Stapleton was in it as well.
Wow.
Let's see. And the lady, I was thinking it was Pam Dauber, but it's apparently Lisa Eilbacher.
Oh, she's very good.
Yeah, I can't think. Trying to think what else she was in here. Nothing that I would ever recognize. Beverly Hills Cop. Simon and Simon. Spider-Man, the TV series, 1981.
Oh, I remember that show. That was very bad.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
The live act. I guess that was the live action.
Yeah, it was live action.
Because I was thinking she could have done a voice on a cartoon, but no, it's probably a live action. Yeah, like he had the wrist bracelet kind of things, and they Yep. I think he used to like carry his camera around his neck. And like his mask was kind of lame. Yeah, very bad. But anyway, so that's On the Right Track. Now that was a great movie. It only gets a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, but clearly these people don't know what they're talking about.
Well, they didn't grow up with it. I mean, when that came out, what was that, 81? I was only like 8. Like that was right in my wheelhouse right there.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Now here's a movie I don't even remember, but I so wish I did. It's called Jimmy the Kid. Do you remember that one?
No.
1982. Again, here's the synopsis. Oh, wait, warning, this synopsis contains spoilers.
Oh, well, maybe not then. Maybe you shouldn't read it.
Yeah. Dang.
Go ahead.
Well, they won't even show it to me because they're so concerned. I'll read the... A gang of bumbling crooks kidnap a bratty little kid, find out that they got more than they bargained for. That's all I can make out.
Wow.
And I guess the rest is all spoilers. But listen to this cast. We got Gary Coleman. We got Ruth Gordon. Now, you don't know Ruth Gordon, do you? But,
I know Ruth Gordon. Don't tell me I don't know Ruth Gordon. I know Ruth Gordon.
How do you know Ruth Gordon?
She was in Rosemary's Baby. She was in Every Which Way But Loose. Yeah, I know Ruth Gordon. Don't you talk to me about her.
She was also on an episode of Taxi, a classic episode of Taxi.
We drive a taxi.
Now, I'm trying to see this other lady here. Hold on. Dee Wallace. Now,
she was in E.T.
That's
she was in
what
The
I was
Howling.
trying to find out if that was her. Yeah, Dee Wallace from E.T. How about that?
Don't mess with me in IMDb. I'll take on Wyszynski.
Yeah, and Cleavon Little was in it.
Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
Pat Morita.
Mr. Miyagi.
That's right. And now here's a little guy I like to call Don Adams.
Oh!
I know. How did I miss this movie? Don Adams and Gary Coleman together, and I never saw it.
Wow. You throw Don Knotts in there, and you got to buy this thing.
I know. That's the trifecta there. But, I don't have no Don Knotts. But, wow, Maxwell Smart and Arnold Jackson in a movie together, and I didn't see it.
Tennessee Tuxedo.
So I got to check out Jimmy the Kid. If anyone has ever seen it or knows where I can get a copy, hook me up.
All right, Jimmy the Kid.
That was 1982. Also from 1982 is The Kid with the Broken Halo. Andy LeBeau is a fallen angel of sorts. He keeps messing up and causing trouble in angel training. Wow. The Archangel, Michael, decides to give him one more shot. His mission, help out the problems of 3 cases. First, the Desautl family, who are on the edge of breaking up. Then the McNulty family, who are workaholics. Finally, Dorothea Powell, who is a secluded, grumpy old woman. Andy's guide on Earth is Blake, who is none too thrilled to work with Andy. That's The Kid with the Broken Halo. Now, do you remember that one?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. Robert Guillaume is Blake, though, his guide. Of course, Benson. Robert Guillaume, yeah. And Robert Guillaume was in all the Kid movies with Gary Coleman. Like, anytime there's a kid, something or
The
other.
Kid from...
Yeah. So this is The Kid with the Broken Halo. I don't remember this one at all. Who else? Ray Walston was in this one.
Whoa. He was
Kim
my favorite
Field.
Marston. Oh, Tootsie or Tootie.
Yeah, Thelma Hopkins. Sounds very familiar.
Oh, yeah. I think she was in 227.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Family Matters.
Yeah.
The Nanny. She was also in Spider-Man. 1996, Mrs. Farrell. I'm guessing she was a voice in that one. Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, yeah. Amen. She was in Amen.
Ooh, Amen.
Yeah, it's great. The Ed and I were just talking about that show today. Amen.
Why?
You know, that's how we roll.
Just because it's never happened before.
Oh, Larry, you know who else was in this movie?
Who?
Corey Feldman.
No!
Yeah, Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman and Gary Coleman? How have I not seen this movie?
The Kid with the Broken Halo, 1982. You better track it down.
I love Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I really don't recall that one too much either. I gotta tell you. Now here's one I remember that no one else really did whenever I bring it up. It's called Scout's Honor from 1980. No, Larry, nothing? You don't remember the Scout's Honor?
No.
Katherine Hellman was in it. You know her
Ooh.
from
Who's the boss?
Soap. Yeah, and who's the
Soap.
boss. Who else is in here? Harry Morgan.
Harry Morgan.
MASH. Harry Morgan. Colonel Potter.
Oh, who, Potter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Some other old actors, but no one really too good. But basically, Gary plays an orphan who wants to be a Cub Scout, and he gets into the Scouts, and they get stuck in a cave, and there's a cave in it, and they're stuck there. And none of this.
No, this doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, Scout's Honor, 1980, Gary Coleman.
You know, I wish Corey Feldman would die so we could do a tribute about him.
Oh, I think he. No, that was the other one, huh?
Yeah, that was Haim.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about the? Oh wait, here's On the Right Track again. But then, The Kid from Left Field is of course the classic, 1979. This is the earliest one so far. Robert Guillaume is the manager, and Gary Coleman is just the kid who makes the baseball lineups for him and stuff. And this is a classic, Kid from Left Field, right?
I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
Yeah, that's great. Ed McMahon's in it.
Ooh. Hey-o!
Tab Hunter. Oh, that sounds odd.
Tab Hunter.
Sounds like a very old actor.
Diet Pepsi. Yeah, it does. I'm Tab
Yeah,
Hunter. You may remember from such films as this one.
Yeah. But, so Gary Coleman, he's in a ton of movies. Now, also The Kid with the 200 IQ.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Goes to college. This was 1983. A very intelligent teenager is sent to college when he meets his roommate, a popular jock. Then hijinks ensue. And Robert Guillaume was in it again, and I don't see any other famous people.
What year was Gary Coleman born?
Gary Coleman was born in 1968.
68. So he was like what? No, I mean like in 82 he was, I guess he was what, 14?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, he wasn't like Emmanuel Lewis was like 80 when he was in the website.
That's what I mean, yeah. I didn't know if Gary Coleman was like 21 or something when he was filming these kid movies.
Yeah, he's still a little fellow. But,
yeah, Danielson.
Yeah, he was like 11 when Diff'rent Strokes was in its heyday starting. So, yeah, so there's all the big movies for the Gary Coleman.
Hey, the Ed's back. I got to get to the Ed. The Ed's back. Yeah. I got to get to the Ed. Ed!
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, Gary Coleman was 6 years old when Diff'rent Strokes started.
No. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I got to check my notes here, Ed. But
Didn't that start in like 78 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
he was born in 1968.
Yeah, he was 10, Ed. That's 10 years. 68.
I'm going to tell you something about that show. That I did not want to watch that show when it first came out.
Why?
Well, yeah.
I thought it was an operation show, like talking about different kinds of strokes people had. And I was like, why in the hell would they have a show about this? This is not a good thing. Because a family member of mine had a stroke right when that show was starting.
Yeah, that'd be a lousy idea for a show, just people having strokes.
Yeah,
showing. But now on the A&E channel, I bet you if Diff'rent Strokes was on, it'd be one of those different type of stroke shows.
Now, Ed, what recollections do you have of Gary Coleman's movie career? What's your favorite Gary Coleman movie?
I like the one where he was in a little train outfit, and the kid from One Day at a Time was on there with him.
Yeah, on the right track.
Yeah, On the Right Track. That was good. He's in the goddamn train station.
Yeah.
And now I like the Kid from Left Field, but I think the Train Station Kid was the best movie he ever did. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a good one.
And he was, you know this, that he was supposed to play E.T., and he got in a contract dispute with Sharon Spielberg.
I don't think that's right. I don't think Arnold.
Yeah.
Gary Coleman was.
Yeah, he's supposed to play E.T., man. That ain't no problem right there. And Todd Bridges,
awesome,
who's Willis. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, yeah, do you remember that one time there was an episode of Buck Rogers where Gary Coleman was on Buck Rogers, so it's kind of like playing E.T. It's like a futuristic.
Yeah, Buck Rogers in the 21st century in Battlestar Galactica. All that stuff used to come on Sunday night. Space 1999, and now we in goddamn 2010.
Yeah,
that show's outdated.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
But,
I remember they used to sell the Space 1999 spaceship toys and all that. And all that junk, man.
Yeah, do you remember a movie called Jimmy the Kid? Gary Coleman and Don Adams? They were in it. It was like a bunch of crooks kidnapped a kid. You remember that?
Nah, I ain't seen that one. I've
seen
a movie called... Huh?
I thought you were rolling down your window.
I don't remember that one. Yeah, I got the window down, man. My stupid air is going out in my car, man, and it's not getting cold enough. And we got 102-degree weather.
Yeah.
So I got to go get the air fixed on my car. It ain't like it's supposed to. It's just going.
Hey, I'm still looking at Gary Coleman's IMDb page, and it said he was 4'8". That's how tall he was. But VH1 ranked him the #1 child star ever on a list of child stars.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, see, I don't know. I don't know if he is or not.
Well, who's better?
I'd say Ron Howard.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
But,
yeah, that is a good one, Ed.
Yeah.
But did Ron Howard carry that show? So I don't know, man. I guess not.
That is true. Yeah, he didn't carry it.
I mean, if Opie got kidnapped in an episode and he was gone, it didn't really matter. But if Arnold was gone, they'd be like, "What you talking about, Willis?" Arnold.
Well, there were a couple episodes of Diff'rent Strokes where Arnold wasn't even on.
That's when he was in contract disputes. And they brought the goddamn Sam, the little red-haired kid, and they brought the stupid lady from goddamn,
Carter.
What the hell, her name, Dixie Carter from, what's the stupid movie she was on, Falcon Crest?
Designing Women.
Designing Women.
Yeah, that's about a crackpot show. Yeah, that was a crackpot show.
Yeah,
Janet Jackson was on Diff'rent Strokes.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd Bridges hit that for real. He got lucky.
I'd hit Janet Jackson.
See, Todd Bridges had it all made, man. He was a playboy and...
Hey, yeah, do you know Todd Bridges wanted to change his name to a Muslim name, and the FBI came to him and asked him not to?
Why?
Because they didn't want the publicity of a young black actor changing his name to a Muslim name.
I don't know about that one.
It's just a story I heard. I'll look into it.
You know what? How many stories have you really heard in your life?
I hear a lot.
You're a storytelling fool, man. I mean, it's like you goddamn Nash Bridges, man.
But now the Ed, we're going to do top 11 Diff'rent Strokes episodes. Would you like to sit in on the countdown?
I don't know. I mean, but which one's the top 11? I don't even know them.
Well, we're going to tell you right now. Larry, hit the music.
The numbers
Did you know?
To 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
LCS Hockey, top 11.
Hey, how about that, Ed? How about that theme song?
That sucks. But listen, I'm going to tell you something. You guys only do top 11s. I ranked all 1,213 NBA teams.
Yeah, we'll get into this tomorrow on your show, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, the Ed Show. The Ed has some kooky formula.
How come with me it's always wait? Well,
this
is
your show, the Ed. This is our fake radio show. You can talk about what you want to talk about on your fake radio show.
My logo is on your show somehow.
No, our logo is on your show. That's right, old man. That's right.
No.
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 All right, well, we're doing a bit. We're trying to honor Gary Coleman. Have some respect. See?
Well, you know what? He's dead.
Yeah, he's a great fella. All right, Diff'rent Strokes is on from November 3rd.
You really think he was great?
He was the best. November 3rd, 1978 to March 7th, 1986. 8 seasons, 189 episodes. 189 episodes. How about that? Yeah.
Well, and you know what I've done? I've done 89, so I'm only 100 away from him, so he ain't doing that big.
Well, that's right.
I gotta go.
All right. There goes the Ed. He's very busy. All right. So, all right, Larry. Top 11, Mr. T. All right. See, I started reading the list, Larry. Top 11 Diff'rent Strokes episodes. Number 11, Arnold meets Mr. T. I pity the fool. You remember this one, Larry?
Yeah, now you say it.
6, episode 123. Yeah. Arnold's trying to impress a little girlfriend he's got there at the school, and she's not interested because her kind of man is Mr. T. And for some unknown reason, the A-team is filming, and they have to film a scene inside the Drummonds' home in their apartment. Seems kind of odd.
Yeah, that seems real odd.
So Mr. T comes to the penthouse there to film a scene, and that little girl meets Mr. T, and she's in love with Mr. T. So to win her over, Arnold dresses like Mr. T, and he comes in. He calls himself Mr. J.
I do remember this now that you say it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty good stuff. And Mr. T tells Arnold, no, Arnold, you got to be yourself, you know.
Yeah, Mr. T was all inspirational and stuff back then.
It's a nice heartwarming message for the kids.
Yeah. Now, do you think this show holds up?
No, not at all.
No,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's a horrible show.
I watched a couple episodes a few years ago, and I was like, wow, this is shit.
Yeah, it's terrible. But when we were kids, it was great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And there are still some funny moments. Like if you go on YouTube, they have little what do they call them, like mini-sodes or something? Where it's basically an entire episode of Diff'rent Strokes filtered down into 4 minutes.
Nice.
You can watch. Yeah, they cut out all the boring parts, I guess, and you can just watch 4-minute episodes of Diff'rent Strokes. So yeah, and there's still some funny bits, but season 1. Really, this show was like season 1 and some of season 2, and then the rest was pretty much downhill.
Mr. D.
Yeah, once they bring on that redheaded kid, Mr. D. Terrible. Yeah.
What was that kid's name?
Sam.
No, his real name.
Oh, good Lord, I don't even know.
What do you think? Here, you go ahead with your list. I'm gonna try to find out what that kid's doing right now.
Yeah. All right. Number 10 on the big countdown. Season 5, episode 104, The Substitute. The Substitute. Now this one, Dudley and Arnold are in school there. And this one pesky substitute teacher keeps leaning on him, giving him grief, and they don't like the fact that he's always busting their chops. So they try and concoct a scheme to get him fired. And here the teacher accidentally hits Arnold, and Arnold makes a big deal of it and says, "Hey, you hit me. That's child abuse. We're taking you to court. You're getting fired." And all kind of controversy ensues. But Larry, do you remember who that teacher was?
I'm going to say Ed Asner.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Get your hand out my cookie jar?
That's right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Get your hand out my cookie jar. Yeah. So imagine Kareem Abdul-Jabbar slapping around Gary Coleman.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, there's a little height difference there. Yeah.
I now that you say that, it does sound familiar again.
Yeah. So a lot of special guest stars on Diff'rent Strokes. Muhammad Ali was on an episode one time. Nancy Reagan was on a special.
I remember the Nancy Reagan one. It was like a say no to drugs thing.
Yep. And but neither of those episodes made the list. But the substitute, anytime Kareem's there and he's slapping around Gary, you gotta love it. So it's that makes the cut. All right, episode number 9, episode 51 and 52. It's a two-parter, Larry, from season 3. The Bank Job. The Bank Job. Now, Tootie's a special guest star in this one, because Arnold's trying to impress Tootie that he has like a little bank account, a checking account, and if he signs up, he gets a free toaster or something. So he's like, no, we got to do this. I think they had plans to go to an amusement park or something. They're like, we got to stop at the bank so I can open up this checking account and I can get my free toaster. So Arnold goes into the bank, but guess what happens, Larry?
He gets robbed.
That's right. The crooks come in and they hold up the bank, and it's a two-part episode, very dramatic. But and of course, in the end, Arnold outsmarts the crooks and he saves the day.
Yeah, I definitely remember that one. Like I said, I watched a few episodes just a couple years ago, and that was one of them.
Yeah, and we mentioned Tootie because Diff'rent Strokes really did have a lot of spin-offs. Facts of Life, Mrs. Garrett went over and started Facts of Life and Tootie and all that. So then Hello Larry was actually a spin-off of Diff'rent Strokes.
Really?
Yeah, he was a pal of Mr. Drummond's, Larry. And what else? Silver Spoons was actually a spin-off, I believe, as well.
silver spoons, really?
Yep. So, yeah, they just cycled them all out of the Diff'rent Strokes. All right, number 8, Season 1, Episode 7, The Trial. The Trial. Do you remember any Arnold's pet goldfish, Abraham, is found in Mr. Drummond's hot tub.
Uh-huh.
And he gets in trouble. And Willis is like, hey, you can't punish my client without having a trial first. So they have a trial.
What season is this? It has to be like Season 1.
Yeah, Season 1, Episode 7.
Okay, all right.
I just watched this one a couple years back. Because on Comcast On Demand, sometimes they put up Diff'rent Strokes and you can watch them. And so that's why I put it on the list, because I remembered it, But basically, Willis wants to make a point to Mr. Drummond that, everyone deserves a trial because Willis put Abraham in that hot tub.
Just to see? Yeah.
Just to stick it to Mr. Drummond.
Right. I do remember that, yep.
Yeah. But, so everyone learns a lesson about justice in a fair trial.
Yeah.
Diff'rent Strokes like to teach lessons.
Yeah. They were all, it was kind of like the Cosby Show.
There's a lot of very special episodes of Diff'rent Strokes.
I'll tell you this much. If you got Dudley getting molested on your list, we're not even going to continue. Is that episode on here?
We'll see. I don't know.
Oh my God.
All right, number 7, Season 3, Episode 51, The Magician. Now, this guest stars Ed Too Tall Jones.
Whoa.
Yeah, Arnold wants to impress Ed Too Tall Jones for some reason. Now, I can't even remember why Ed Too Tall Jones was up in their apartment.
Well, I think the Dallas Cowboys were playing a game inside the apartment that week.
It was some sort of a photo shoot or something. Mr. Drummond had some role in it. I don't know. But when Ed Too Tall Jones came up there, Arnold tried to impress him by doing a magic trick for him. And his magic trick consisted of him slipping out the back door there on the patio and running along the edge of the building and hiding out on the edge of the building, 30 floors up above the street.
I remember that now.
Yeah, and Ed Too Tall Jones had to go out and rescue him because Mr. Drummond tried, but he couldn't do it. His arms were too short. So Ed Too Tall Jones goes, let me try. And Mr. Drummond says, I can't ask you to do that. And Ed Too Tall Jones says, you're not asking. I'm volunteering.
Whoa. And
he goes out there and he gets Arnold.
Wow, he gave Mr. Drummond the biz.
Yeah, he couldn't get Terry Bradshaw, but he got Arnold Jackson. Right. So Ed Too Tall Jones. I always love when the athletes come on and try and act, too. That's always great.
Oh, yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. All right, number 6, Season 2, Episode 44, Return of the Gooch. Return of the Gooch. Yeah, the Gooch was you never saw him, but he was a bully, and Arnold always had trouble with the Gooch. And in Season 1, he had to decide whether to fight the Gooch or not. And here in Season 2, the Gooch comes back, and he starts giving him the business again. So Arnold goes for karate lessons. And he takes karate. And the big scene in this one is he's wearing his little gi around the house, and he does some moves on Willis. He does like a chop and a kick, and Willis pretends that he gets knocked out. So Arnold thinks, wow, I'm a badass. I really know the kung fu. So he starts walking around like he's all tough, and he calls himself Killerfoot Jackson. And he's not scared of anybody. So he starts even like picking fights with the Gooch. He says, let's fight, Gooch. But then Willis says, I was just pretending. You really aren't Killerfoot Jackson. And then Arnold gets really scared.
Yeah, see, I don't think I remember that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, there's a couple I couldn't even find in the. I should have mentioned earlier. I couldn't find in the episode guide. Now, maybe I'm just imagining this, but I could have sworn there was one episode where Arnold, as part of a gang initiation, had to steal something, and he stole a comic book from a store. But it turns out that it was he stole an issue of Spider-Man. But it turns out it was a collector's item, and it was worth over $200. So it wasn't a misdemeanor; it was like a felony, and he had to go. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find that in the episode guide I was looking through today. And then the other one, Willis wanted a drink, and Mr. Drummond says, you want a drink, do you? I'll teach you a little lesson about drinking. And he just sat him down with a bottle of scotch and said, start drinking.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, and Willis got all, messed up on the booze, on the hooch.
I know one thing. You sit me down with a bottle of scotch and tell me to start drinking. I'm going to start drinking.
But Willis learned his lesson. He's like, I never want to drink again.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just imagining. Maybe I wrote. You know what? That may have been one of the scripts that I wrote as a child, and I acted out in my basement. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so number 5, Season 1, Episode 13, No Time for Arnold. Now, in this episode, Arnold is concerned that everyone's too busy. No one's giving him any attention. So you know what he does, Larry?
He hides.
He pretends to wet his bed.
Ah, I remember this. Yeah.
He'd sneak in and pour water in the bed and say, hey.
Yeah, he would get a cup of water out of the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. Any show with bedwetting, I'm a big fan of. That's
yeah, well, who's not?
And this reminds me of a story about our buddy Todd Teacher, also known as Captain Justice. He hasn't been on the show in a long time. We got to get him back on. But one time outside of, I don't even know what store it was. But, I think it was like a grocery store, like a Shop and Save or a Giant Eagle kind of thing. And they always have like pamphlets in front of the stores, like usually for like Alcoholics Anonymous or stuff like that. You need help, here's a pamphlet, go get help, Well, here, Todd found a stack of pamphlets about stop bedwetting.
Yeah.
And he just picked up a bunch of them, and he went outside and just started handing them out to people. Like everyone who came to the store, he'd hand them out. On the front of the pamphlet was a big stop sign, and it said bedwetting. Everyone was just like taking they're taking the pamphlets and looking at them like, what the hell?
Yeah, see, like, just for people who listen to this show regularly, and you think Todd's a character or whatever, he's not. That is Todd. Like, that is him when he calls into the show. Like, he's just out there. He's different. He's a different...
I haven't talked to him in a long time. Remember that one time he just showed up during the show?
Yeah.
At my house? Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I also like when sometimes he'll just call in and he'd like to have the score of the Penguin game.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I'll give Todd a call here this weekend.
Hey,
all right.
What's the score of the game?
Number 4 on the top 11 Diff'rent Strokes episodes. Season 1, episode 15, Willis's Privacy. Willis was saying he wanted his own room. He's tired of being around Arnold. And all I remember is they basically divided the room in half. They did the old Brady Bunch thing, remember?
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch as well. But they put tape right down the middle of the room. And Arnold, I can't remember, did Arnold have the side of the room with the bathroom and that was like a big thing? Or I can't remember. But
yeah, I can't recall.
I remember some hijinks ensued, and it was a swell episode. So there you go. Number 3, season 1, episode 5, The Spanking.
Oh.
Spanking. Yeah, Arnold gets in trouble because he's throwing water balloons off the balcony of their penthouse. And Mr. Drummond says, hey, no more water balloons off the balcony. But he kept doing it. So Mr. Drummond says, I'm going to spank you if you keep doing it. So Arnold runs and hides. And but then Willis says, hey, you're not his old man. You can't spank him. He's my brother. I'll spank him. And Willis spanks him.
Really? Now, why is this your third favorite episode?
Because I just saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember it. like on Comcast. Yeah, the 2 I saw were the trial and the spanking. So I'm like, I can remember those. I'll put those on. But I like the heartfelt family message that, I'm going to spank my brother.
Oh, he's sticking together. That's blood.
Yeah.
Drummond's not blood.
Brother's standing up against the white man. Like, you're not going to spank him. No white man's going to lay his hand on my brother. I'll spank him.
Now, are you watching these under tube time? Is that where you're seeing these episodes?
Yeah, on Comcast On Demand. Yeah, tube time.
Yeah.
Usually.
All right.
Yeah. But now they say I can't watch tube time stuff because I don't have a subscription.
Really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know they had a channel. I didn't know you had to pay for
that.
that.
What gives Comcast? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, am I really going to pay for episodes of Benson and, Fat Man and Jake or whatever, Jake and the Fat Man? I don't think so.
Who's the killing to let me watch Diff'rent Strokes? Really?
Yeah, really.
All right. Episode 2, or number 2 on the countdown is Season 1, Episode 1, Moving In. It's the first episode. It's got to be there. It's classic,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be there. And
it would be
it would be number 1 on the list, except for a little thing I like to call Season 5, Episodes 114 and 115. The Bicycle Man, Larry! That's right, the Bicycle Man! It's number 1! Yeah, it's the best!
All right, so we've established that in your top 3, you have Arnold getting spanked and Dudley getting molested.
This episode is number 1 just because it's so bizarre.
It is weird. It is so weird.
2 episodes of Dudley and Arnold hanging out with this weird guy who played by, his name's Mr. Horton, but we all know him as Mr. Carlson. Gordon Jump from WKRP in Cincinnati, and this is 1983 after he's already played, on WKRP, and he's playing a pedophile guy who owns a bicycle shop, and he invites Dudley and Arnold in, and he starts showing them like dirty magazines and cartoons and stuff, and he's giving them wine, and he's having them take off their shirt and taking pictures of them. It's so bizarre. And, of course, nothing happens, Larry. Nothing happens. Dudley doesn't get molested. They get there in time where he's not molested.
Really? Because, well, I haven't seen that one.
They sanitize it that much. But it's 2 episodes, an hour's worth of just bizarre, disturbing images and dialogue and scenes. I have 3 clips from the episode, Larry, that we're going to listen to, just to give people a sample of what's going on here. So here, play clip 1. This is, he has a bunch of comic books, Gordon Jump, on the table there. And he's out in the kitchen making them pizza. And the boy's like, hey, he's got a lot of comic books. Let's flip through them. And here they open one comic book, and then here underneath it, a little dirty magazine, a nudie magazine. So they start flipping through the nudie magazine, and then Gordon Jump comes back in, and he's like, uh-oh, what were you boys doing? And this is where the clip goes. Diff'rent Strokes 1, Larry, is the clip.
You know, guys, you can just have an awful lot of fun with your clothes off. Unless, of course, you live at the North Pole and going to freeze your tush off.
What kind of fun?
Well, for instance, there's skinny dipping. Either you guys ever go skinny dipping?
Nah, I never done that. Me neither. Unless you want to count the time when the fire hydrant blew my pants off.
Yeah.
Skinny dipping fun?
Fun? Listen, guys, if you have not gone skinny dipping, you have missed one of the great joys in this life. I think I got some pictures around here of a bunch of us skinny dipping. You guys are going to love them. Let's see if I can find them. Here they are right here. Here we are down at the old water hole.
Hey, you don't have any clothes on either.
You don't think I'm going to let them kids have all the fun, do you? Look, everybody's laughing and horsing around, having a good time. We had a great old time that day.
Looks like fun to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'd like the idea of running around and everybody staring at my bare butt. It lacks a certain dignity.
Well, if you ask me, there are too many uptight, dignified people in the world today anyway. It's time we all let our hair down a little bit.
In that case, you let everything down.
You know, that pizza would taste a whole lot better with a glass of wine.
Yeah, that pizza would taste better with some wine, wouldn't it, Larry? Now, what is going on there? And don't forget how much fun you can have without your clothes, Larry. As Mr. Horton tells the boys. When you're not wearing clothes, you can have a whole lot of fun.
And I like how the audience laughs along. Yeah, oh, wait a minute. You guys are going down the kiddie porn route. Ooh. Like, the audience is real weird in reacting to the little...
Yeah, like, do you think they told them ahead of time, like the studio audience, like what's going on? Or do they just brought them in, hey, it's a normal episode of Diff'rent Strokes, people? Like Gordon Jones, and you see Mr. Carlson, you're like, oh, that's going to be an awesome episode. Mr. Carlson's, wait, what did he just say? What? Skinny dipping, what? Huh?
He wants to swim naked?
Wine with pizza? That's just silly. What's he trying to do with these kids? All right, so it continues. Now, later on in the, I think it's the part 2 of the episode, because from there, when they're talking about the skin, I also like the move where he's like, let's see if I can find those pictures of me skinny dipping. Oh, here they are.
Here they are. They're right here.
Yeah, he really had to look. Well, a little bit later, he goes, you know what else? Let's play another game. Let's take some pictures. And he's like, I wonder if I can find my trusty camera. Oh, here it is. And it's right behind him. And he's like, let's start taking pictures. And he gives Arnold a pith helmet, and he puts it on. And he's like, yeah, Dudley, you're going to be Tarzan, and Arnold, you're going to be like the Safari Explorer guy. And he puts him out there, and he's like, but Dudley, you know, Tarzan, he never wore a shirt, you know. So anyway, but and then later on he starts showing them little dirty cartoons. So I think I lost track of the clips. Just play clip number 2. This might be the cartoon one, I think.
I got to tell you, Michael, I'm very uncomfortable with this. But
this is amazing television right here. All right, so go ahead.
Tarzan never had a shirt on, Dudley.
Oh,
Take your shirt off.
Okay.
Let me help you with that, Len. Aha. Oh, that's nice. Aha. Ooh, boy. He's got a great physique, huh?
I think he's built more like a pipe cleaner than Tarzan.
Okay, now, tell you what, let's show those muscles, Dudley. That's good. Fine. Now, we're going to take some pictures, and we're going to have another little sip of wine, and we're going to take some more pictures. And so give me strike a pose for me there. Yeah, let's see what you do. Oh, hey, that's great, guys. Gee. Guys, we're just going to have a great time together this afternoon. Huh? All right, let's see those poses some more. That's the way to go.
People are clapping. What are they doing?
Yeah! Kitty
You
porn.
are going to have fun tonight. Woo! What is going on?
Molestation. Yay!
Oh, it's just disgusting. All right, one more. Now, that was the end of episode 1. And like I said, it's a two-parter. They couldn't wrap this up in one part.
No.
So here's the final clip, clip 3. This is from the second episode. This is the cartoon. He says, you guys want to watch a cartoon? They're like, yeah, we love cartoons. And then this happens.
She's wearing a bikini. Not anymore. I've never seen a cartoon like this before. Me neither. Look what we've been missing. Billy, this is an X-rated cartoon. It's dirty. Yeah, I know.
Arnold, it's not dirty. It's adult. And we are all adults, aren't we?
We only look adult because we worry a lot. Oh, wait, I want to see how that mouse makes out. I don't like this cartoon, but I have nothing against this pie. Come on, Arnold, stick around.
No, Dudley, look, if Arnold wants to go, then that's what he should do.
I'm warning you, Dudley. If the Mouseketeers hear about this, you'll have to turn in your ears.
Listen, Dudley, don't worry about Arnold. We can have a lot more fun without him. After the cartoon's over, we'll play Neptune, King of the Sea.
How do you play that?
Oh, you know, it takes a lot of water, the bathtub, a shower. Oh, it's a great game. You're going to love it.
Egad, man.
Oh,
Neptune, King of the Sea? We got to get in the tub, a lot of water? What the hell? Unbelievable.
I think with your top 11 tonight, Mike Dell, we as the listening audience, we learned a lot about you.
But what is going on? What are they doing over there at NBC? It's so creepy. And so the episode ends with Arnold going home, and he tells Mr. Drummond what's going on, like with the wine and whatnot, and Mr. Drummond calls up Dudley's dad. Oh, I guess Dudley's dad came over and said, I heard they were drinking booze, wine. Someone was giving them wine. And so they figured it out, and they go over to the bicycle shop, and they bust in there and with the cops, and they pull Dudley out. Dudley comes staggering out of the bathroom, and he's like, oh, yeah, nothing happened. He's still shirtless. And he's like, but he gave me a pill. He said it would relax me. It calmed me down.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's just terrible. But nothing happened, Larry. They got to Dudley before anything happened.
Oof. I don't know. I think something happened.
They got to him before it happened.
Come on, dude. King of the Sea. Lord.
What a disturbing image that whole episode was, and it's stuck in my mind, and now hopefully it's in everyone's minds.
Well, of course, and it's kind of sullied this episode here, because now this episode's equated with kitty porn.
See, whenever I think Diff'rent Strokes, I can't help. I try to think back season 1, all the shenanigans with Arnold and Willis, moving up to the penthouse, and, the racial inequality. No, I hear about the Mr. Bicycle Man, Gordon Jump, and I don't know.
It's like when Edith got raped.
Oh, they just put up a quote from the umpire. I don't know what to do. I cost that kid a perfect game. Biggest call of my career, and I kicked a blank out of it. Sorry to interrupt the top 11, but that was a quote from the umpire.
Did he say blank, or did he say shit?
Well, they had to. I think they had to bleep it out. They put little asterisks on the screen there, but So he did cost the kid a perfect game. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow, what a douche.
Yeah.
He should quit. Like, honestly, if you're missing that call, you shouldn't be umping a game anyways, reffing a game. You really shouldn't.
Yeah. I bet that guy who goes home tonight, he wants to give Dudley some wine and take pictures.
Yeah.
King of the Sea. Yeah. But yeah, it's a Diff'rent Strokes. There it is, top 11 episodes. The Bicycle Man. Yeah, do yourself a favor and never watch it.
No.
It'll flip the hell out of you. But Gary Coleman, Godspeed, buddy. We love you, and
Yeah, the Blackhawks they just scored to go up 3-2.
Ugh.
And the Eds already called one time and hung up, so
nice.
1-0.
1-0. All All right, well, that's the top 11. Now, last week's top 11 was Beatles songs. You and Cousin Brandon.
Yeah.
Remember that, Larry? And
yeah.
We said, well, who would have the better list? And the people spoke, and it was overwhelming. It was like a 3-1 margin. Everyone liked your list better.
Yeah, you know, and Brandon will rationalize with, oh, come on, nobody knows music like me, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the thing with Brandon's list, I don't know if you picked up on a theme or not, but it seemed like every song Brandon had on his list, he loved it because either John or Paul or Ringo or George went ape shit at the end. He just goes ape shit at the end, and he just loses himself, and then, like, I love it because of that. That was all 11 songs. So if you went ape shit in a Beatles song, it made Brandon's list. I don't know.
The Beatles going ape shit really isn't that ape shit. It's kind of like...
Nah, not really.
Like maybe a 4 or 5 on the ape shit scale.
Yeah.
Really,
Ape dung. It's not even ape shit.
But last week on the show, we did a Beatles conspiracy, and we were talking about how you can hear things if you play the records backwards and stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, we didn't have the audio clips because I forgot to upload them. But I think I uploaded them this week, so we should have them. So maybe we'll just play them to let the people in on it.
All right.
I should mention, I don't know if I stressed this enough when we were talking about the Apollo's Dead stuff, but like the rumor didn't break, and it wasn't publicly known until all these records were recorded already. You know, so if someone was playing a gag, they were playing it without any, public fanfare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Paul's not dead.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, this was a joke that was going on, if it was a joke, behind the scenes without any attention. It wasn't like the rumor broke that Paul's dead, and then later on they started doing this stuff. No, this was going on before the rumor even became popular. All right, so that's what makes it even more bizarre and intriguing of a story. Now, I can't even remember what these clips are. I think this first one is from Revolution number 9, and if you play forward, the guy's just saying, I think he's saying Revolution number 9. But if you play backwards, he's saying Paul is dead, I believe. Right?
Are we ready?
I don't know. I can't remember what he says. Just play it and we'll figure it out. Turn me on, Dead Man. I think he says Turn Me on, Dead Man. All right, good.
All right. I'm going to kick the volume up a little bit.
Turn me on, Dead Man.
Yeah, there it is. Turn Me on, Dead Man.
Wow, that was fast.
Turn me on, Dead Man.
Turn Me on, Dead Man. And people were saying, well, that's because Paul... And whatever the song is, like it says someone sings a song at the end of a song, or a line at the end of a song, like "Turn Me On" or "A Day in the Life." I think is the song. Do you remember, Larry? I don't know.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Anyway, but they're saying like that ties into that old song, and "Turn Me On, Dead Man" is Paul.
Are you talking about "I Love to Turn You"?
Yeah,
on.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. That is "Day in the Life," yes.
Yeah. All right, now the second one, I don't even know what this clip is. Just play it, and then I'll try and remember what it is.
Get on me, wanna know, Hank, why?
That's not it at all. That is something completely different. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. Now we'll play it again. Now it says Paul's a dead man. Miss him, miss him, miss him. Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I hear that, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying, though. I mean, I can't, it's audible, but I don't know if I would pick that up if I was playing.
And these aren't the only two. There's like pretty much, it seems like every song there's something in it. I don't know. So that just goes back to the Paul's Dead conspiracy thing. But,
just to put a bow on that.
Yeah. Anything else about the Beatles you wanted to mention, Larry?
No.
All right. Well, then, anything else, or should we just get right into this week's conspiracy?
Oh, let's get into it.
All right.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the streets. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value! I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Yeah. Now, this week on the big conspiracy segment, what do I always say, Larry, about the conspiracy segment? You don't have to believe it, but just look into it, and hopefully it gets people to question when they hear a story that they may not be hearing the whole truth. You know,
right.
Trust but verify, you know?
Yeah.
Anytime you hear something on the news, in the media, don't believe it, because they're probably lying to you. So I was trying to think of an example of where the story is so universally accepted, yet there could be more to it than meets the eye. And this time of year, I always think of the Stanley Cup Finals, and I think of O.J. Simpson. Don't you?
I don't usually equate O.J.
Yeah, because 1994 when the Rangers were beating the Canucks for the Cup, O.J. the news broke, O.J.'s wife's dead, and and then he went on that little. The Rangers were having their Stanley Cup parade, and I think it was the same day O.J. went on his little low-speed chase. Remember that?
Yeah, I was at Hooters that night.
What were you doing at Hooters?
I had just turned 21, like maybe a few days before that, and I was making my first, bar scene tour and that sort of thing, and we went to Hooters, and I remember I think it was the Knicks and the Rockets. I think they were playing in the NBA Finals. It was on the TV next to the O.J. chase scene.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's what I remember.
Yeah, because it was at 12:05 a.m. On well, I don't even have the date written down. June 14th, 1994, I believe, or June 12th, something like that. You think
it had to be 14th
somewhere? Yeah, let me see. No, it was June 12th actually. The body
really?
Was found yep, June 12th. So
that was the night of the chase?
No, the night of the chase was the 17th.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, I had just turned 21 at that point. Yeah.
The 12th was the day the bodies were found.
Okay.
11:40 p.m. Bodies were initially found. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Now, everybody knows the Ron Goldman. He was supposedly just a waiter down at the restaurant there, and he was returning a pair of glasses that Nicole Simpson's mother left at the restaurant earlier that night, and he stumbled upon the scene and ends up dead with Nicole Brown Simpson there. Now, there's a whole bunch of details about how the body's found and stuff I won't get into. But what do you remember about the O.J. Murder case, Larry? Now, you, of course, did you think he was guilty?
Well, at that time, I didn't. Like, I remember the day the verdict was read. I was getting my brakes changed at Midas.
Wow.
And I got home just in time, like, when they were going to read the verdict. And I remember, like, when they said he was not guilty, I was like, yes, O.J. is, he's free. But now that I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, he did it. Of course he did it.
Yeah, it's pretty much accepted that everyone pretty much thinks he was guilty. Cause, at least when I say everyone, the vast majority of the people. Although in the African American community, they always did polls where they thought it was like more of a 50-50 split of whether he did it or not. Even more than that at some times when the polls were taken, it's almost a 3-1 that he was innocent. But typically the white. It's like a racial issue.
Yeah.
It was intentionally made into a racial issue. People say Johnny Cochran did that, but who knows? But anyway, it seemed to be an overwhelming case that O.J. was guilty because they had his DNA at the crime scene, his footprint, the glove that belonged to him, a hat, supposedly hair samples, blood in his Bronco, blood at his house, another bloody glove at his house. He didn't have an alibi for that exact time when the murders happened. They said he was a jealous husband, controlling husband, even though they'd been divorced for 2 years, that he was still very obsessed with Nicole, and, if he would become irate if she was with other men, and so he was just very vindictive and abusive, and he was just driven mad. He went over and killed her, and Goldman just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, so he ends up dead too. And now these were knife killings. They weren't, you think someone's just going to kill somebody, a spouse, in the heat of the moment, it would be a gun. A knife is a grisly way to kill someone,
Yeah.
And these were grisly killings. They weren't like simple 1 or 2 stab wounds. No, Ron Goldman was stabbed like over 15 times. And, Nicole had her head just about decapitated. 3 serious slashes into the throat and through the spinal cord almost, and like her head was literally just hanging there basically. So it was ugly, gruesome stuff. It wasn't like a simple killings and then he ran. No, this was grisly stuff. All right, so now could O.J. have done it? everyone remembers the trial and the glove didn't fit. So what, Larry? You must have quit, right?
Yeah, right.
Then they said, well, the glove, he's trying to over latex, and the glove probably shrunk over time because of the blood and the tests done on it and everything. And so who knows if he's dead. But the defense team, in the course of the trial, did bring up some questions about the DNA evidence, how it was collected, how it was handled. They tried to say that Mark Furman, who's like, tried to paint him as a racist and a corrupt cop, which he basically was. And they tried to say he's admitted to planting evidence and past suspects to get him arrested. And there are recordings of him speaking very, not so good things. And they're trying to say, well, he planted the blood evidence to frame O.J., and they just wanted to get O.J. to make a big splash and solve the case and all that and other stuff. But in the end, he was found not guilty because, in large part, the glove didn't fit, must have quit, and enough suspicion was thrown into the DNA evidence that they said, well, it could have been tampered with, or it doesn't prove that O.J. was there, and whatever. So he gets off. But then, like a year later or so, there's a civil trial, and he's found guilty in the civil court. Because in civil courts, you don't have to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's just a preponderance of evidence. So there's a lower threshold to be found guilty in civil court. So he was found guilty there as being responsible for the deaths of Ron Goldman and Nicole. And I think he was ordered to pay like $33 million or something. So that helps to contribute to the idea that everyone thinks he was guilty and he got away with murder. But could there be more to the case than everyone thinks, Larry?
Yeah, obviously there is.
Yeah, there is. There's some interesting things going on here. There's two basic counter theories about what happened. One is that this was a drug-related hit on Ron Goldman and Nicole, or either of the two. Some people like to think that Ron was actually the target of the incident, and Nicole was the innocent bystander, like she just fell into it. But there's all kind of stories about the two of them. Not that they were an item or in love or anything, but that they were running with a fast crowd. And Nicole's buddy Faye Resnick was staying with her a while, and Faye Resnick was all hopped up on the nose candy there, the cocaine. And she had outstanding debts to coke dealers and stuff, and she knew a bunch of shady people in the mob and the mafia. And there were rumors that Nicole and Ron Goldman were kind of distributing coke around the Brentwood area of L.A., and they were going to go into business together and open up a restaurant from cocaine profits, and that the restaurant Ron Goldman worked at, Mezzaluna, actually has ties to the mob and a lot of weird shady stuff going on there, like they're just peddling drugs out of that restaurant. And so it wasn't like there could be other factors involved in the case. Now, a guy named Joey Ippolito, Ippolito, he's a second-generation mafia. His dad was Joe Ippolito Sr., and he had connections with Meyer Lansky and all the big mob guys from the old days. And Joey Ippolito ran cocaine, and he was kind of like a drug lord there in L.A., and he was in prison, but the FBI allowed him to escape prison 3 weeks before the killings because they wanted to track him down and find who his connections were. So they let him escape, and they put a tail on him. And Joey Ippolito had a meeting with O.J. Simpson about 2 weeks before the killings. And A.C. Cowlings, O.J.'s buddy, he worked for Joey Ippolito, and he was like his bodyguard, and he did stuff for him. And some people suggest that O.J. was also involved in this cocaine running and smuggling, whether he was selling it or distributing it. He owned a lot of businesses around town, and people say he was running drugs out of it. Who knows? But Joey Ippolito apparently was putting the squeeze to Simpson. He heard that about Nicole and Ron and other people in the area trying to run drugs, and he says, "This is my territory. You got to knock it off, or you got to pay me money." And they wouldn't pay, so Ippolito had Goldman and Nicole killed and framed O.J. for the killing. Seems a little odd. Yeah. Now, just on the surface, but there are more peculiar things about this. A guy named Brett Cantor owned a Hollywood nightclub named Dragonfly, and people try to connect Brett Cantor to Nicole and Ron because they apparently frequented the Dragonfly nightclub. Now, some people dispute what their relationship was, whether Brett Cantor even knew them at all. But so it's kind of sketchy or how you can show that there's a true positive connection. But Brett Cantor, about a year before Nicole and Ron was killed, he was killed with a knife. His throat was sliced, and he was stabbed in the chest and arms, similar to the way Ron Goldman was killed. Very similar, in fact. and this was a year before the killings, but rumors were Cantor was running the coke as well. Another guy named Michael Nigg was buddies with Ron Goldman, and about a year after the Goldman was killed, Michael Nigg was killed in the street as well. He was shot in the head. Another employee from the Mezzaluna restaurant almost died in a car bomb. Someone, that's not a common occurrence, a car bomb.
Not anymore. No.
Yeah, another person who worked there ended up disappearing. So there's a kind of a lot of stuff going on at this Mezzaluna restaurant and connections to the mob. And so who knows whether Nicole and Ron were into something and they got rubbed out. But the problem with this scenario is O.J. still... I should mention that Joey Ippolito, one of his main hitmen, is known for using a knife. And he tends to kill people in the fashion that Nicole and Ron are dead, or found, dead. So, but the problem here is O.J., the theory is that they set up O.J., they called him over and said, hey, we did something, you got to get to Nicole's house right away. So they called him there to lure him over, and then he was at the crime scene to implicate himself at the crime scene, even though he didn't do it. But that's also why he always said he was innocent, but he tried to run because he figured his life was over, because he was responsible for them getting killed because he didn't pay the debt, and that if he said anything else about them doing it, they'd kill the rest of his family. So he just tried to bail out of town with that low-speed chase, and his buddy A.C. Cowlings was going to help him. But also, I should mention a lady named Tracy Alice Hill. She was a stripper from Santa Monica. She was arrested with 40 pounds of cocaine on February of '95, and she had a prescription in her belongings that was made out for A.C. Cowlings, and she also had A.C.'s phone number and O.J.'s phone number in her phone book, her little address book with her as well. So that's another cocaine connection of the two of them. And so this could be all drug-related. Who knows? And Johnny Cochran and the boys tried to say that. They said it initially that it was a drug hit gone wrong, but no one seemed to believe it just because of the DNA evidence and that they planted O.J. on the scene. But, I mean, to kill the two people in the fashion that they were murdered with a knife, it would seem to be hard that O.J. could do that. That would seem to be difficult, just because of O.J.'s age at the time and his arthritis and his knee surgeries and stuff. He wasn't exactly, the juice running 50-yard touchdowns. He's an older fella who wasn't moving around so well. So could he have killed Ron Goldman, who was a 25-year-old guy who knew the karate, and he was a really well-built dude, and Nicole in less than 2 minutes and get away with it? And the other thing to think about with O.J. is his kids were up in that house, Sydney and Justin house. So would he really kill their mother and then leave her there for them to find her, possibly? That seems odd. I don't know if that would happen. So there's a lot of... it could have been a drug hit with the Resnick and everything, but who knows? Now, Larry, the Ed is trying to get in on the other phone line. Is he calling the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, let the Ed on the show, because I think he has feelings about the O.J. case. So.
All right. Well, if he calls back in, I'll bring him on. But you said, hey, when Ed, don't let him on during conspiracy, because he always brings monkey shine and nonsense.
Well, I think he has some strong views about O.J. So.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. We'll call back in the Ed. By the way, I think it's 3-0. All right. Here he is.
Yeah. Ed.
Yeah.
We're doing the conspiracy on O.J. Simpson.
I know, I've been listening, but you didn't pick up my call. I want to talk about it because I know about all the stuff that happened on down.
Yeah, see, Ed's got connections. Now, I didn't get into the other theory yet, Ed. We're still talking about the possible drug hit, but is there anything you know about this?
I mean, one of my friends had fingered Faye Resnick at a Carl's Jr. like 3 weeks beforehand.
See? He did what to Faye Resnick at a Carl's Jr.?
Fingered her. He fingered her.
Fingered her, yeah. Fingered inside her late at night at the drive-thru.
This is why we brought him back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that don't got nothing to do with the case.
No.
But I think the son did it, man.
Yeah, see, that's the other theory. We'll get talked to in a minute. But yeah, the Faye Resnick, she was into the coke real heavy and she owed people money. So
looks like Paula Abdul gone wrong. She does.
Yeah. So some people say maybe they were trying to kill Faye Resnick and Nicole came to the door instead of Faye, because Faye was staying there, but she bolted a couple days before the killings, the day before the killings or something.
Oh yeah, they got it in.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, the people He just tried to make O.J. go down.
Because he was a strong black man? Is that why they had?
Nah, I don't think so. But O.J. transcended color at that time. O.J. was white, pretty much.
That is true.
O.J. was the first superstar athlete to go to the other side and wave goodbye to the black people.
Really?
Yeah. Man, O.J. could do it all. He was running through airports.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that's where he had to go the night of the murders. They were supposedly killed between 10 and 10:40.
And listen to this, though. He was running through the airport that night, and there were people there convinced they were filming another Hertz commercial.
No, that's not true at all. But
yeah.
O.J., the murders apparently happened between 10 and 10:40. A lot of people pin it down around 10:10. And O.J. had to be at the airport because he was flying out to Chicago, so a limousine was picking him up at
Hold on, don't hang up on me. Hold on. I'm going to put you on the other end of the call, but hold on. Back.
All right. So a limousine was picking him up at 10:45 to take him to the airport. He was going to fly to Chicago for a Hertz convention or something to do with Hertz. Something was going on. So he had to. Do you really think he'd kill the mother of his children? And then when he knows he has to make a limousine? Yes, he did.
Hey, my girlfriend called me.
Oh, all right.
She said she will be staying at home tonight.
Oh, that's new.
Said her appointment got canceled.
Well, that's good. Hopefully we don't get an O.J. Nicole thing going on with you and her because it sounds like she's catting around on you. So,
No. Some other broad called Major Minority Show talking about she had my baby, but I was like, listen, lady, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. You got kids already.
Yeah, that's a goddamn conspiracy too, man. That should be a conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you have any other info about the drug dealing going on there in Brentwood area of L.A. with O.J. and the people?
No.
All right.
But did you know, listen, I'll tell you, though, that there was a guy in a van across the street, had a vantage point, and he was talking to Peter Jennings on the radio that day.
No, that was Howard
on the
TV.
Yeah.
That was Howard.
Tricked Peter Jennings.
Yeah, that's right. They did. They tricked Peter Jennings.
He said, the guy, they should have known, man. The guy goes, it's pretty intensive over here. What the hell kind of word is intensive?
Yeah, because you never say something like that. All right, now we got to move on. Now, do you want to just say real quick? Do you want to just say real quick what you think happened there with the O.J.? Like who was responsible? Because you mentioned it briefly. Do you want to say it again?
His son was banging out Nicole. He got jealous because he thought Ron was doing something with her. It's over, man. Then Johnny Cochran got a spin-off, and he was on Seinfeld before he died.
Well, that wasn't Johnny Cochran, but...
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's another guy.
All right, I'll listen. Don't put me on hold. I want to listen. If I want to chime in, I want to chime in. Just shut up.
But you're going to chime in and disrupt things and get me off track.
I'm not. Nothing.
All right.
Hush.
All right, yeah. Well, but we can hear the... You got to put your window up at least, because we can hear the wind and everything.
I'm running.
Where are you running?
I'm so fast you hear the wind when I'm running.
Yeah.
I'm running right now. I'm sprinting.
All right. Well, how about this, dude? We'll put you on mute, and we'll check in with you every, 5 minutes.
The Crockett Trash Show.
Your phone's just too noisy.
I hope this show become what it is, and now I'm nothing.
Well, just hang on hold. It's no big thing.
I don't want anybody listening. Tomorrow night, I don't want everybody boycotting my show. Forget it.
That's right. Oh, all right, Dad. Well, just do something about your phone. Make it quiet.
Hey, phone.
Very good. All right. Yeah, so as the Ed mentions, the other big suspect in all this is O.J.'s son, Jason. Now, Larry, did you ever even know he had a son named Jason?
No.
Yeah, Jason Simpson. He was 24 at the time of the murders. Now, you think, well, this is just hooey and all kind of craziness that his son could have done it. That's just nuts. Well, not so fast, my friend. An investigator named William Dear, D-E-A-R, wrote a book, O.J. is Guilty, but Not of Murder. And he also, you can find him online, theoverlooksuspect.com, I think is his website. And he really gets into it and breaks it down how Jason Simpson's the guy responsible for the murders. And I got to tell you, it makes a whole lot of sense. But So I should mention about the drug thing before you leave that, because I said maybe Ron Goldman was the target of the hit. But the thing is, before he returned the glasses to Nicole, he went to his own apartment and showered and changed clothes, and then because he was supposed to go out that evening, and then he left. So if they were going to hit him, they would have did it at his own apartment, I would imagine.
You would think.
Know? Yeah. So it seems odd that if he was the target, they would wait to get him there. So that doesn't add up for me. And also about Ron Goldman, apparently there's some indication that he may have been a police informant as well. Like he has a police record that you can't access it because it's protected by a California law that only protects informants for the police. So that's another reason why someone could have wanted them dead, that he was a...
I hate Fred Goldman.
Yeah, he doesn't like his dad there. All right, so that's another thing about the Ron Goldman. But anyway, this investigator, William Deere, he started asking himself, and he started piecing around who could the possible suspects be. Now, the police always said that Jason Simpson had a airtight alibi for that night, that he's a chef at a restaurant called Jackson's Restaurant, and he was supposedly cooking for 200 people on Sunday night at until 11 o'clock, and that's all the police ever did about Jason Simpson. That's all they ever did. Once they found that out, they didn't ask, they never interviewed him, never asked him any questions, they never did anything. And one reason why they didn't, because the days after the murder, O.J. Simpson hired an attorney, not for himself, but for Jason Simpson, and to protect Jason. So the police, when they tried, Jason had already had counsel, and they just didn't even think it was worth bothering with him. So they never interviewed him at all, nothing. And why would O.J. hire an attorney for his son the day after the murders? That's kind of odd, right?
Well, you know what's kind of weird too? Here's what happened. When O.J.'s son Jason tells him, O.J. says, O.J.
I never thought of that.
Like another O.J.
Yeah.
But he's O.J.
Yeah, I never really thought of it. Okay, anyway. So Jason Simpson, what about this Jason Simpson character? Well, his life turned sad there. Your phone is just very loud. I don't hear it. You don't hear it at all? No. I hear nothing but static.
That's your wife.
All right. Well,
nothing but static.
O.J., with O.J.'s first wife, he had 3 kids, an older daughter.
Because I remember the first report said O.J. Simpson was on trial, and then they changed it to O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, that's not true at all. But Jason Simpson's life went south there. And when he was a 10-year-old kid, he was supposed to be babysitting his younger sister, and his older sister was in the front yard washing the car. He was supposed to be watching his baby sister by the swimming pool. He went inside for some reason. When he was inside, the baby sister fell in the pool and died. And
really?
I mean, he was just 10 years old, yeah. So from that point on, he started having some issues, with the guilt and the mental issues and whatnot.
Well, he should have got charged with murder back then.
Yeah, so when he was by the time he was 14, he was already experimenting with drugs and stuff, and he had a seizure. He had a seizure, and they took him to the hospital to see what was wrong. And here he was on the cocaine, and that's why at 14 years old he's on the cocaine. And from the time he was 16 to 19, he was doing LSD and mushrooms and all kind of other nonsense, and he was already drinking heavily. So he was kind of messed up. He was diagnosed with severe depression, a seizure disorder, intermittent rage syndrome. Some people call it Jekyll and Hyde syndrome, where he can just burst out. He's bipolar. He has all kinds of things. He attempted suicide 3 times. Once by punching his hand through a glass window, taking glass and slicing his wrist. Once he just grabbed a pair of scissors and started stabbing himself in the stomach. He was also on a medication called Depakote, D-E-P-A-K-O-T-E, Depakote, and he overdosed on that one time. You know that medication he had?
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, I remember one time he had come to my house and me and him played a game called Neptune.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. But Jason Simpson took the Depakote to control his rage and his anger and his bipolar and whatnot, and so he overdosed on that one time. But throughout all this, he also went to the Army-Navy Academy, and he was trained in arm-to-arm combat with knives. He always carried a knife with him, either in his boot or on his belt. He also was a chef, so he carried his chef. Yeah, he carried his own chef knives with him to and from work. He never left them at work. He always carried a bag of knives with him. His past girlfriends said that he had abused them and beat them up, and that he one time he beat up his one girlfriend, and he took his chef knife and cut off her hair. He pulled another one through a window of a car and started beating her. He threw another one, the same one he cut her hair off. He picked her up and just threw her into the bathtub and almost nearly broke her back. he was got in trouble for assaulting his former employee, or employer, I should say, with a knife. There's a history of him doing violent acts with knives.
Now, one time, too, he had got arrested. There was this white fella in L.A., and he slapped him and then did a karate chop on him, and then the guy named Vince ended up making a thing called slap chop.
That's once again, not true at all. Don't include that as part of the conspiracy. That is not true. Ed's making that up. But, yeah,
well,
Jason
Vince did.
He had a lot of trouble with the law and stuff, and he was on probation for the first knife attack on his employer during the killings. But 2 weeks before the killings, his ex-girlfriend met him, and they were chatting it up, and she says, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "Well, I stopped taking my Depakote, the medication that controlled his rage issues there, and he said it was messing with my head, so I quit taking it." And that's always bad when people stop taking their meds. And also, 6 months before the killings, he checked himself into Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and he just said, "I feel like I'm going to start raging and hurting people." So he checked him into the, well, I don't know if he said hurting people. He said he's about to rage, and that was implied, that he'd be hurting others. So he checked himself in the hospital for that. So there's a pattern of history of him doing violent things with knives and towards women. Now, his relationship with Nicole, she was his stepmom, but they got her along beautifully, apparently. They used to go out partying. Nicole would take him to the dance clubs with her, and he may have, like, I don't know if, as the Ed put it, was banging her out, but he apparently loved the Nicole there. And one time Nicole was talking to her buddy Ron Shipp, a former LAPD police officer and a friend of OJ's in the family, and she said that she had a peeping Tom earlier at night. That's why she called him. She caught someone looking in the window, and she goes, "I thought it was OJ, but it looked like Jason." So apparently Jason was kind of stalking Nicole a little bit and peeping in her windows and stuff. So it's kind of creepy. Now, the night of the murders,
if you had a hot stepmom like that, you'd be peeping on her too.
Yeah. So Sydney Simpson, the younger Simpson child who was Nicole and OJ's child, she had a dance recital earlier that day, and OJ went to the dance recital with Nicole was there, and then Nicole's family was there. Everyone, there's video of this as well, and OJ was there laughing, having fun with them, and he didn't seem like he was about to murder the lady in 2 hours later or whatever. So after but the plan was Jason couldn't go to the recital, so he had made plans with Nicole to say, "Why don't you guys all come to Jackson's restaurant and I'll cook everyone dinner because I have to work." And Nicole said, "Yeah, sounds like a great idea." And he was really happy about it. He was excited because it was going to be his first chance to cook for the whole family. He's going to seem like a big shot and everything, you know. And here, right before the dinner was supposed to happen, Nicole called him up and said they weren't coming, that they were just going to go to Mezzaluna, the restaurant Ron Goldman works at. We were just going to go there because it's closer, and she didn't feel like lugging the kids over to Jackson's restaurant. And this made Jason very upset. And Jason was in a mental institution before, too, I should mention. So he had issues with the rage and the anger, especially towards women. So he was very upset by this. And he even admits this in the civil deposition. And when they were asking him about that day, he said this all went on. And he said he was upset when she changed his plans and stuff. So that's the frame of mind he's in. And so they go to the dance recital, and Nicole takes the kids for ice cream. And another little girl was supposed to stay the night there that night, but she changed plans at the last minute. But the point is, OJ knew all this, that he knew the kids were going to be in the upstairs bedroom, and he actually thought another little girl was going to be there, too, on a sleepover. So, and OJ was fine with them at the dance recital, no problems. And in fact, OJ's biggest concern at the time was his girlfriend, Paula Barbieri. They seemed to be having issues, like they were breaking up, and that was his main concern at the time. And earlier that day, he even called an old Oakland Raiders cheerleader at 9 o'clock and left a message on her machine saying, "I'm free and clear from Paula, so if you want to get together, you know, whatever, I'm free, let's get together or whatever." So it doesn't sound like a guy who's about to kill his wife, his ex-wife. And once again, he had the appointment to meet his limo at 10:45 and to fly out at 11:45 out of LAX. So would he really pick after 10 o'clock to go over to Nicole's with the gloves?
Well, wasn't he getting McDonald's, Cato?
Yeah, he did. He went and got McDonald's with Cato at like 8 o'clock, right before that. So it's very peculiar that he would pick that time to kill his ex-wife. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, Jason, on the other hand, was supposed to work until 11, but on Sunday nights they're not crowded, so he leaves early. His girlfriend comes and picks him up in his Jeep.
Oh, I'll call you back.
All right, Ed. See you, Ed. Now, when Larry, you're still there, right? Larry?
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I'm here.
Right. Yeah, so when Jason is getting off work there, his girlfriend comes and picks him up because she had his Jeep, and they have an argument. The coworkers say that she was crying, and he was like yelling at her a little bit. So, but he leaves work, and his coworker said he left work about 9:30. It wasn't 10:30 or 11. So when he left, he took her to her apartment, dropped her off, and then he says he went back to his apartment and just stayed around watching TV all night until 3 a.m. and when he finally fell asleep. And that's his alibi. That's his airtight alibi. Now, later on down the road, this investigator, this William Deere, he's able to track down through an old employee Jason Simpson's time card from that night. And it says he was working until 10:30. But here's the rub. The time clock at that restaurant, you got to punch in and out, and it's automated, so it's stamped. But not on that day. On that day, he wrote in by hand. He just wrote in that he worked till 10:30.
Huh.
And he initialed it. It's the only day. So that's peculiar. And remember, his other coworker said that he left at 9 or 9:30. And the murders took place between 10 and 10:30. And and he always carries a knife. He uses knives. So the theory is that Jason Simpson was very upset with Nicole, so he went over to Nicole's house because she didn't show up for that dinner, and to confront her. They probably got into it a little bit. He took out the knife, and Nicole had a wound on the top of her head, a blunt force trauma wound, and probably from the base of the knife, it seems this all ties in later because we think we have the murder weapon now eventually. But then while he's slapping around Nicole, Ron Goldman shows up, returning the glasses, and Ron Goldman tries to intervene, and he gets the what for, and Jason Simpson. And Jason Simpson's a big kid. He's a big, strong guy. He's not some little fella. And he has issues with rage, so he goes nuts, and he's just killing him with the knife, and he knows how to use a knife, unlike O.J. Jason was trained at the Army-Navy Academy, and in fact, his old classmates, when they first heard that Nicole was dead, the first thing, someone sent a letter to this investigator, and they were talking to him, he said the first thing we thought of was that Jason did it, because he was known for carrying knives and for being, violent and stuff. So, so Ron Goldman shows up, and he fights Jason. And Ron Goldman even had a slice on the bottom of his tennis shoe, and he had defensive wounds on his hands from trying to protect himself. And the other key thing about Ron Goldman, well, he got the slice on the bottom of the tennis shoe because he knew the karate. So I take it that he was trying to kick, Jason there, and he took a slash to the foot as well. But he got stabbed a ton of times, like over 15 times. And also, Ron Goldman had bruises all over his knuckles and his fist from punching. O.J. Simpson had no bruises whatsoever anywhere on his body. Not on his face, nothing, nose, lips, nothing was busted. Nothing. But Ron Goldman was definitely punching somebody because his knuckles were all busted up. And so who knows? It wasn't O.J. he was hitting, so who was he hitting? Now, Nicole then, so the theory is he kills Ron, then he goes back to Nicole, who was still alive, and he grabs her by the hair, pulls up her neck, and slices her neck 3 times to kill her. And then he leaves, he comes to his senses part of the way, and he either phones O.J. or goes to O.J. and tells him what happened, that he attacked Nicole. O.J., he wants to go see for himself what happened or whatever, so that's how O.J. gets to the crime scene. He goes over there. Whether he had those gloves, a thing to keep in mind about the gloves, because the glove and a knit cap is found at the scene. O.J., those gloves are rare. Only like 300 pairs of those gloves are ever sold at Macy's from New York City. Nicole actually bought those gloves for O.J., but she bought 2 pairs, one for O.J. and one for Jason. So whether or not that's Jason's glove or O.J.'s glove, who knows? But if it was O.J., he could have took the glove off to see if she was alive, to feel for her pulse or whatever, and then freaked out when her head almost came off and just ran. But that could be why he got blood on his shoes. He left the shoe print there, and that's why he got the blood on the glove and whatnot. And but the evidence, the blood evidence, is a little sketchy as well, because there was only like 1 drop of blood in O.J.'s truck. Now, if O.J. had just slaughtered these 2 people with the amount of blood lost, and there was a lot of blood. You can see the crime photos if you really want, but it's disturbing stuff. But how could so little blood end up in his Bronco?
Yeah.
So, and there's no blood on the gas pedal or the brake, and there's no bloody clothes found in his hamper or anything. No blood in the shower at home. No blood in the toilet. No blood anywhere else in the house. They found 2 pairs of socks with blood stain on the sock, but it was just 1 drop. And the blood was on the outside of the sock and both insides of the sock, but not on the other outside of the sock. So how could it get from one, the only way that blood gets there is if it's dropped on when it's not, the drop of blood is there when he's not wearing it. Because if his ankle, if his foot's in the sock, the blood stain's not going to come through. You know what I'm saying, Larry?
Right.
So that indicates that it may have been planted there by someone. And that blood on the sock also contained a chemical called EDTA, which is a preservative element that they add to blood to, preserve it in the blood samples. Now, it's also found in laundry detergent and paint. So you could say, well, maybe it's just from the sock, but the rest of the sock was tested, and it had no traces of EDTA. But the blood on the sock did have traces of EDTA. So that indicates that the blood was planted there on that sock. So that's why this evidence is very sketchy. And one of another of O.J.'s blood samples at the crime scene had EDTA in it. And so they're saying, well, that could have been planted as well. There's something else I wanted to mention about the sock and the EDTA. Now I can't think of it. But, yeah, so when you hear the blood samples and it connects O.J. to the case, not necessarily. And also, if Jason had left blood there, it would have a very similar genetic profile to O.J. Also, his hair would be very similar because, it's his son and whatnot. So those are all things to keep in mind as far as the physical evidence goes. Now, Jason's Jeep, this investigator, we're running out of time. There's so much stuff. But this investigator, this William Deere, he started surveillance on Jason. He started following him around, and he even bought the kid's Jeep when he sold the Jeep. But when he was doing surveillance of Jason, and this was during the time of right after the murders, he noticed that every time it rained, Jason would go out and he would unhook the Jeep covers and expose the Jeep to the rain. And then when it would stop raining, he'd go in and cover it back up. And he did this repeatedly. So then later on, when Jason sold the Jeep, this William Deere, he bought the Jeep. And this was like 9 years later. And but they still ran tests on it to see if there could be any traces of blood inside the Jeep. And they found 7 hot spots where there was blood in the Jeep. And this was 9 years later. They didn't think they'd have anything, but they found it. Also, Jason put his belongings in a locker, a storage locker, and but when he moved back east a couple years later, he left them there and he never paid the rent on it. So the items went up for auction. Someone bought the box of his belongings. They didn't know it was Jason Simpson at the time, and but then when they were going through it, whoever bought the stuff, they heard about William Deere's investigation into the case, and they called him right away because they said, I think we got Jason Simpson's stuff here. There's 3 books of diaries of Jason Simpson, and a handwriting expert confirmed that they're Jason Simpson's diaries. And they're written in Jason's hands, and he says some very bizarre stuff in the diaries, just about how the violence in them and stuff, and how this will be the year of the knife, and knives cut away useless parts of what you don't need and stuff like that, and how he's tired of being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, now he lost his innocence. All this strange rambling writing in these diaries about violence and knives and killing people. So, and then there's cooking magazines as well, because, he was a cook. But there's also photos of him throughout his life. There's also his little sister's death certificate, which gives you an indication of where his mind he still has her little sister's death certificate with him in that box. But the photos depict him wearing a blue knit watch cap or a knit cap, the same kind that was found at the crime scene. And the photos were taken before the murder, and Jason was known for always wearing a knit cap like that. But then after the photos that were taken after that, the murders, he's still wearing a knit cap, but it's not the same color. It's like a gray knit cap, so he's not wearing the same knit cap anymore. O.J. was never known to wear a knit cap, but Jason always wore a knit cap. Jason always carried a knife on him. And Jason, also in the box, Larry, at the bottom of the box, was a knife. It was a boot knife, the kind that connects to a belt or your boot. And it was a long blade, double-edged, exactly kind of a stabbing weapon that you would use for killing people. And the handle of the knife, the diameter of the butt end matches the blunt force trauma on the top of Nicole Brown Simpson's head. Like the cut is the same shape and like the size of the handle. So it's very there's a lot of stuff about Jason Simpson that's very, very weird. So.
Wow, that is a lot of stuff. I had no idea about this.
Yeah, no one knows about this stuff, but I'm telling you, and if you go back and you watch, Jason Simpson would read statements for his father after the trial and stuff, but go back and watch the tape of when O.J.'s found not guilty, everyone else in the family's jumping up and down, and Jason Simpson's just sitting there staring with vacant eyes, and apparently at Nicole's funeral, he couldn't go anywhere near the body. He didn't want any part of it, but this is why O.J., will say, well, why doesn't O.J. look for the real killers, or why doesn't he? Because it's his son, and he knows it's his son. He knows his son killed Nicole. He knows his son killed Ron Goldman. And you're like, well, what was the low-speed chase about? Well, was it that he wanted to get out, or was it that he just wanted to create a distraction so his son could get the hell out of town? Who knows what's going on. But now there's all kind of hearsay that people say, like, they heard O.J. confess. None of that. Who knows? Like, Rosie Greer says that he heard something when he went to visit him in jail, but it was more like O.J. said it was my fault. Not that he did it, but it was my fault, and before he said something, I should have been the one to die or something. So it could be heard either way. Like, was he saying he did it or that his son did it, and he's responsible for his son, you know? It kind of fits. If I'm just saying, look into William Deer's work, DEAR, theoverlookedsuspect.com is his website. The book, O.J.'s Guilty But Not of Murder. There's more stuff than I went through. Like, there's tons of stuff. But, yeah, Jason Simpson, he seems like a likely suspect, Larry.
You make a compelling case, Mike, though. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, there's more stuff about the diaries and his writings and his history of medical problems. And why would O.J. hire an attorney for his son the days after the bodies are found, you know?
Yeah.
That's peculiar.
This is one I might actually look into myself a little bit.
Yeah, and the testimony from the ex-girlfriends and how he treated them and the stuff he did with the knives. And like I said, he always had a knife. He's a chef. It kind of all ties together, and it makes a lot of sense. And by the way, he never went back to that job at Jackson's restaurant after that night. So the knives, you know, were never back in the restaurant. That chef knives, who knows what happened. But it makes sense because there's a motive there, there's a means, there's an opportunity, and also it makes sense that O.J. would then go to the crime scene to see if Nicole's all right. Then he freaks out when he sees her dead. He takes off. And then
well, how does O.J. get cut on the hand?
See, that's a thing we should mention, too. That's a suspicious thing because O.J. had a cut on his knuckle, but he says he lied about it 3 times. He said 3 different ways how he got it, once on a cell phone, once on a glass, once on something else. But the other key point about all that is, while his hand was cut, the gloves weren't. So if O.J. was killing him while wearing the gloves on, why was his finger cut, you know?
Yeah.
You can't, you know, the gloves would be cut if he was wearing. So there's a lot of peculiar things about the case. That's what I mean. It's just not as open and shut as people think. There's a lot there. Who knows, O.J. could have still done it, but there's just more there than people hear or know about. So look into Jason Simpson, and if you want, look into the drug stuff too. But if I had to guess, I'm leaning towards the Jason Simpson theory.
And don't forget, Ed's buddy fingered Faye Resnick at a Carl's Burgers drive-thru restaurant.
Carl's Jr.,
Yeah, so that's, also look into that. You could probably find that somewhere.
Yeah. So there you go, the O.J. Simpson conspiracy. There you
go. Another good segment there, Mike, though. I'm sure Big D McGee will have something to say about this.
And, I'm not telling you what to believe. I don't know what happened, but I'm just saying there's more to it than people think. You know?
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yep. All right, Mike Dale. We're out of show.
Oh, one more thing real quick. They always, a lot of people mention that O.J. bought a knife 3 weeks before the killings. Well, it was proven that knife had nothing to do with the killings. So if you ever hear that story that O.J. bought a knife, it had nothing to do with the killings. Like, it was tested, nothing. No human blood on it ever, nothing. So don't worry about it. All right.
What do you need a knife for anyways?
Yeah, O.J. owned guns. If he was going to kill him, wouldn't he just take a gun over and shoot him? But Jason doesn't own guns. He owns knives, you know. And Jason is fit to rage and, you know, violence and with knives. So makes sense. And apparently O.J. gets woozy at the sight of blood as well. And if he got woozy from blood, that crime scene is nothing he'd want to see. It was nasty.
Yeah, I saw the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much.
Nope.
All right, Mike Dell, we're done.
All right, Larry, thanks, buddy.
Stuff. We got to thank the Ed for calling in.
And thank Gary Coleman.
Thank Gary Coleman, and we got to thank the Ed for calling in 3 more times. Check out Major Minority Radio, the Major Minority Report, Monday nights at 9 on Blog Talk, and Vertically Striped Radio, Saturdays afternoon, 5:30. And are we going to have the Space Monkey guy on next week, Mike Dell?
Hopefully Roger Marsh. Try and get the Space Monkey guy on. And top 11 Spider-Man villains, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Venom. All right, I guess that's it. Go buy Honest John Churchfield, and I got nothing else. So next Wednesday we'll be back. Until then, pass the gin, Governor.